No, I can't move it from one part of the phone to the other part of the phone.
Ah.
How do I send a picture over Zoom?
No, you don't have the device?
No, that was taken apart months ago.
Oh, no.
I'll send that to you, Bob. You'll see what he's talking about. I made a scale reactor for the Seaview.
Nice.
Like it doesn't have enough. Like it doesn't have enough.
I was bored.
I tell you what, talk about having some free time.
I know, tell me about it.
Jesus.
All right, hold. I have to see if I can make this happen. I had a customer send me a cylinder. I'm going to see if I can pull this up and share it with you, and then I'm going to bail on you guys because it's just kind of funny.
Uh-oh. This one has a real reactor in it, plutonium. Bob there is really
Yeah, and he got it from North Korea.
and North Korea.
Here we go. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna share a bunch of stuff with you.
Hey,
monkeys.
Steve.
Hey, Ed.
Yeah.
Did you get when I said I had to put it away because I was making a lot of cats?
Yeah. The radiation was duplicating cats.
Yeah, well, there's a commercial.
Oh yeah, I saw that commercial. Oh, that's cool. What is that?
All right, can you guys see this? This is the cylinder for an OTW Vanguard that I got from a customer, traded back into. Actually, I bought it. I don't know. You can't see it, but it is full. This is how it arrived to me, full of water.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
you can see it, Bob.
What happens with the OTW ballast tanks is you can't get the water out. And this one was vented with a little pinhole into the dry compartments, and it was set on its end and all the water leaked down. So here, check these out.
Oh my God.
Oh, it gets better. Wait till you see this one. All right, here, look at that. That's mold.
Man.
Mold growing in the cylinder.
Wow.
All right, here's the picture I wanted to show you. So this guy has a little Mobius Seaview, and in the battery compartment, he had me put a BLM in it and program it. This is what was stuck to the forward bulkhead. Can you guys see what's stuck there?
Oh my. Oh no.
Is that what I think it is?
It's a dirty magazine.
Really?
Holy shit.
Yeah, boobs.
Yeah.
He was trying to get a rest of things.
I
Biggin.
don't know. That must be typical for those submariners to do that kind of
wait
stuff.
a minute.
All right.
Yeah, but we have no shame.
But the
All right.
audacity, Bob, to send you something in that kind of condition is just unbelievable.
Well,
Yeah.
it wasn't done on purpose, but I paid a price under the assumption I was going to be able to just tweak it and then list it up and get it for sale for somebody. But now I need to completely gut the cylinder and replace all of the components. So it's going to be 2 or 3 solid days of work.
You're better off just trashing it.
No, don't be silly. All right, guys, I am recording. I am going to hand off to Ed, and I'll let you guys play. Sorry, I couldn't be there in more person, but next time we'll queue up a better conversation. So you guys have fun.
Bye, Bob.
All right.
Take
thanks.
care.
Yeah, stay safe, Bob.
Where is he, Ed?
He's traveling. His wife is getting an operation, Renee.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Hey, I'm wondering if that's everybody's thinking it's canceled because there's not a lot of people yet.
Well, if you look at the calendar on the website, there's a big red line. These 10 days to include today.
I mentioned that to Steve about that the red line, I thought it was canceled too.
So I thought, what the hell? I'll just click on it and see what happens. And boom, we got a meeting.
That's it. Yep. Hey, Tim.
I think Bob probably just unlocks it so we could have our meeting.
Well, the dots on the calendar, if you touch one of the dots, it opens up and says that the DiveTribe is still on, even though he's out of the shop.
Correct.
So,
But by looking at the calendar, you see this red line through 10 days or so.
yeah.
How is everyone, anyone?
Good.
Good to hear.
I got an appointment to get a shot.
Yeah.
Finally, next
Second
next
one.
Thursday.
So let's talk about the nuclear reactor.
Oh, I you have to see it. So, but what's your email address? And I'll send you a picture.
Morey, Morey .Knutson, KNUTSEN at CBRE dash Hubble, HUBBELL.com.
Maury, can you do that one more time? I ran out of ink.
We tried to make it longer, but we couldn't.
You know, that's TMI there, Frank.
It's MOREY
EY dot KNUTSEN
SEN
at CB
at CB
CBRE
at CBERE
no CBRE
RE
dash
Hubble
HUBBELL.com.
Oh, that's better. Okay.
Thank you.
BELL what? I got a hiccup in there.
BBELL
Yeah, BBL
BBELL.com.
.com. Okay.
Thank you.
Geez, I almost ran out of paper too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Oh, I'm trying to figure out how you get the dual screen working again. Oh, there we go. Anything new?
So where's hey Tim, where's Matthew?
Don't know. He's probably being told off by his missus again. Spending too much time in the shed.
Did he ever get heat back on?
I don't know. I didn't know he had none.
Well, last time he didn't have any heat.
Yeah.
And it was 45 degrees in his boat.
That'll teach him for buying a boat.
Yeah, the only thing for me that happened lately, I finally got my my WTC for my Gato. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it looks like. I'm working on this part here. This part goes in here.
Yeah.
This part, I'm just working on it right now. But it has the tanks on the ends. See, it has the ballast tanks on the ends.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's from R&R.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I got these. They're rated IP68 servos. The rating is 30 minutes, 1 meter, but they'll probably go a lot longer. The problem with waterproofing the servos is always the connection. What do you connect it to? So using those 3-pin connectors, I managed to marry them nicely. to the servo. So they kind of clip on like that, and I can mount the servo anywhere in the wet. And then this will come out, the waterproof connector.
Nice, nice.
Yeah. And this, I got, I bought 100 feet of this. You know, you got that stuff. So that's easy enough. You can either mount them directly to the dry box if it's close enough, or they'll extend out. You'll get the picture. You can run this through this fuel tubing.
Wow, yeah.
Think about it, right?
Yeah.
What, get the twisted stuff?
Yeah.
You like it better?
Yeah.
Always go with twisted cabling.
Right. You can extend it.
It knocks down interference, but like I used to use it, and someone turned around to me and said, "Don't use it. It looks like it's a homemade product. It has to be one like Taba."
So the idea is this:
Twisted cables.
you'll just once I clip the pins on, coming out the other end, just feed it right through like that. And the wires will come through and wire it in.
Smart.
Just make sure the tubing don't come off.
I need the extension.
I've been hearing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we've
I'm on a
all
roll.
been.
I'm on a roll today, Ed.
So yeah, they'll come back here. And that's the motor compartment for the one planetary gear reduction
Nice.
for that prop. So plenty of subs to be working on.
What was Bob talking about when I got on? Some about did UPS mess up a bunch of his subs or something?
Yeah, they drove a forklift through a shipment of 3
Oh.
homes from Matt.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Mine was one of them.
How do you? He said they made a big, nice hole in the side. Anyway, it wouldn't be too bad if it was the bottom. It'll save you having to drill out drain holes.
Yeah. What's a forklift between friends? So.
He should have put model submarine on it. He obviously thought it was too heavy to lift.
I tell you, when Bob shipped me that 688, the same thing happened. The gorillas, the gorillas from the old commercials with the Samsonite, they throw the packages around.
I tell you,
Go ahead.
when I worked for Grumman, we made a model for this doctor, and we had to make 10 of them. He paid us $30,000 to make these models.
Wow.
And of a P-51, the Red Tail Squadron. And he was making plans to ship them with UPS. They wanted to see this thing dropped from 8 foot before they would accept it in the packaging. Yeah, it wound up, he made a styrofoam, cradle and dropped it from 8 foot, and it worked.
I mean, when Bob shipped me my Vanguard haul from Matt, I mean, that thing was shipped so well. It was in a huge cardboard tube with, I mean, literally there was about close to a foot of packing in between the sub, everywhere. I mean,
Yeah, he shipped it to you in a concrete sonotube.
oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I've gotten stuff from him before with that, and I tell you, it makes all the difference in the world, but that's the same tube that UPS put the forklift through.
Oh, so, well, thank God it wasn't mine. Oh, man.
So Tim, what have you been working on?
Speed controllers. We're working on me and my friend are working together using my leveler to make a self-ballast control system. So you'll have the control of the rear plane like normal, but it will also control a peristaltic pump for your rear dive tank. So your submarine will always hover.
Cool.
And I know it's not submarine based, but I'm making, you know, a cabin for a boat. So it'll have like displays on it. So you can have like a little radar, you can have a map on it, everything like that.
Great.
And I'm also working on a new leveler, which will be out in about a month's time, where you can adjust the endpoints, you can adjust the starting position, and the sensitivity will be about 10 times as much. Even though it's not needed, it's needed for our other design, if you know what I mean. But slowly getting there. The main concern is speed controllers because we can't get them in this country. Even though we can get M-Tronics, a lot of people don't like them.
Why?
They're good, don't get me wrong, but there was a better one on the market in the UK and the guy packed up. But what we're thinking about doing is our speed controller will have current limiting. So even though the speed controller will be 30 amps, 40 amps, you can set the trip value. So the moment the prop gets weeded, the speed controller cuts out and then it'll come back. So you'll never blow the speed controller.
Great.
And that's what we're working on. But the problem we've got is trying to figure out, we can get it all working perfectly fine until you get to 6 volt because of the BEC, the BEC circuit. We want to have our BECs have about 5 amps, which will be more than what you ever need. But more to come on that hopefully this year. But the guy that's helping me, if you ever get to see that 12-foot Gato submarine video, you'll be blown away. It's impressive. And this thing was made in the late 80s. Everything is automated on it.
Evening all.
All right, Matt.
Hey, Matt.
Sorry I'm late. I was scoffing dinner.
How dare you be late?
Well, us Brits, you know, it's 7:30 or wherever it is. 8 o'clock now, isn't it? Oh. Is Ed here? Put your mic on. I've got some bad news for you.
Yeah, I hear the boat got speared.
Yeah, UPS decided to stick a forklift through your submarine.
You shouldn't have put a target on the side of it.
I wish I bloody did, the bastards.
He must have been a you know, I bet you anything, he was a yacht salesman.
He didn't like to be down under. Oh, I must admit, I couldn't believe the damage. I mean, how on earth it went through fiberglass that thick?
Really?
Yeah, it went straight through. You know where the backing plates are, where you screw down for the rear fins. Maurice will know what I'm talking about. They're quite reinforced, so you can screw into them. They managed to put a forklift through that. I have no idea.
The guy had a running start.
Oh yeah, did he just? Oh, so I'm at the moment making a new hull for you.
Look,
Maurice, don't worry about it. Shit happens. I did scream. Yes,
I'm not worried in the least about it. Seriously.
I am. I got to try and get my money back.
I hear you.
Yeah, but the UPS took the submarine away to destroy it.
Really?
Yeah. So I took the bronze propeller out of it, changed it with an aluminium one, and also I took the conning tower of it, changed it with a broken conning tower that I had here, and I also put one of my second tops in that was smashed, replaced your top, which was fine. So I just swapped it all around.
Hey, you got to work the system. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
It's I've been spending this. Go on, Tim. Sorry, I'll shut up now.
You sure said there was a radio in there. There was everything in there.
Do you know what the problem? So the cheeky bastards said that I never sent it with an invoice, and they stuck the invoice gets stuck to the tube, and you can actually see where they cut the invoice out, gone into the parcel to find the inside invoice, and just broke and wrecked everything. Oh, lying bastard! Oh, okay. Right, I'm back in set.
Was it something I said?
Yeah. Things you said.
Hey, Steve, what are you up to? You working on that 688 yet?
I haven't done much with it, I'm afraid to say. I really wanted to try to learn Fusion 360, so I set myself to designing a sub, came up with that Columbia class. So I'm very close to being done with that. I've still got my Hunley to try to finish, and I've got that 688. Neither of which, or none of these, would take much to complete them.
Yeah.
They're that far along.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be taking on working on a sub for Dave Ruiz that is going to keep me occupied for a while.
Yeah.
So helping him.
How you
That's
finding
me.
Fusion? Yeah, Steve, how you finding Fusion 360?
Yeah, I'm liking it now that I'm learning a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
But I'm still only scratching the surface.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't get on with it to save my life, and I got SolidWorks, and it's just so much simpler.
Yeah, but the difference is with SolidWorks, it costs £10,000.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I didn't pay
No, you can get free
£10,000
copies, but I do not recommend getting free copies of licenses.
Well, in fact, it's done all right for me. So, listen, it's done the astute, so don't worry about it.
Well, considering it does say in Fusion 360, I do not make money out of using this product. I don't know
Yeah,
how
well,
people can turn around and say, yeah, I don't.
Yeah, right.
I had many a frustrating moment with it, believe me, don't get me wrong. But
Oh, God.
you know, the moment you figure it out or you get it to work, there's elation that comes with that as well. So
Who are you watching on YouTube? There's a really good YouTube channel where I learned Fusion 360.
Oh, nice.
Really handy, helpful guy. He did it really. Laz Christian.
Oh, I've watched some of these YouTube videos.
I'd highly recommend anyone wants to learn Fusion 360, follow him.
Yeah.
I've also been looking at product design online. I find his videos very helpful. You know, if I'm looking for a specific, you know, how do I loft? He's got a video on how to loft something with I don't know, you know, it's they're not really long. I've looked at some of Lars Christensen stuff, and I followed the first like 4 videos that I think he ever did on building that electrical enclosure box.
Yeah.
And I followed that along to the T, and I did it, even though it was an older version. I figured it out. But I dropped it for a while, and then I picked it back up and dropped it. And now I can sit down and I can actually churn something out without too much effort. If I need a part or whatever. This whole Columbia class has been entirely designed by me and 3D printed. And every part on it, I've sat down and said, I need this, and worked it out. So I've really enjoyed it.
If you're going to be using this goes for anyone really, Oh, I've got three. Let me find it, because we use them where I work, and I didn't really know how useful they were. They're called. You can get them really cheap secondhand. They're proper CAD design. They're called Space Mouse. Let me send you a link. They're very no. Let me send you this. Okay. Don't look at the price because you can get them a lot cheaper, but this is what you really need for CAD work, 3D modeling. I thought they were overpriced until I used one. If you're going to be using a lot of CAD, I'd highly recommend you look for a second-hand one.
I have a mooch on that,
because it's amazing what that dial can do. It's a proper joystick. You can program all the buttons to do things, and you use that alongside your mouse.
Okay.
It transforms it, but you can buy. There's lots of things like that.
Hey, Matt, make
Yes.
sure you tell Bob not to post this video because he's recording right now. You don't want UPS saying what you just said.
Do you know what, Dave? I couldn't give a flying toss, and I've already given them a full complaint. I'll do it live in front of everyone. UPS are a bunch of beep, beep, and a beep.
UPS couldn't care less what we're
No,
talking.
they can't. They can't. They couldn't care less. I mean, in the end of the day, they stuck a forklift through my parcel.
Oh yeah, they broke it, but you know.
They deserve everything they get.
All I can picture now is Jim Carrey, you know, in Ace Pet Detective when he's kicking that box around the house.
Oh, don't, yeah. But I need your address, Dave.
I gave it to you already. I'll send it to you again then.
Yeah, please do. It'll be a while yet, but yeah, I'm nearly done now. I keep tweaking it.
Hey, I'm still working on my Gato and stuff, and it's taking a little longer than I thought it would. And I'm just running out of time because I have a lot of stuff, and then plus at work I'm mentoring this new person. It's going to be like 6 months of mentoring, and it's like, and I have to stay after work a lot of times. And usually I was working at home, but to mentor this guy, I have to meet him at the office, and I just don't have time to do stuff anymore.
I know you're paid. I'd love to do some of my own stuff, but at the moment I've got to do everybody else's. But hey, why am I complaining? Where's Maurice? There he is. I've got something to show you.
Do you? Oh my God. Am I ever going to see it?
Can you see that?
You did it, buddy.
Of course I did.
Beautiful.
So I was going to put electrics in it today, but then I started retweaking stuffing boxes. I didn't like my original design, so I started changing it again.
Well, thank you for showing that to me. It looks like we're almost there, bud.
Yeah. I hope to get it all kitted out this week. But as I said, I'm changing stuffing boxes at the moment. This is like a prototype I'm doing at the moment. So I'm going away from push cup seals, because I'm finding they're binding on the shaft too much. So I've gone back to silicone O-rings, and I made that today, which is the new gland. And I'm actually quite happy, much happier with this one, because you can actually physically unscrew the thing off, and it's all threaded in, and they'll have rubber seals in there when I'm done. But you can actually take it apart to do any maintenance on it, which couldn't have done with the originals.
Great.
The original press fit in, so I made that today on the lathe. So I'm quite chuffed with that.
Great. Thank you.
So lots of tweaking going on. That's where I am. And in amongst doing that, I'm also building the astute in the evenings, which is getting there quite well. So thanks, Dave. We're getting there. So that's the astute so far. So all plank on frame and then covered in gob. But I'll have that. I started designing all the plate work on CAD. I've been doing it over the last couple of weeks. I did the deck, so the main deck yesterday, and I ended up with 28 parts, and that was just from hatches and things like that. And the escape hatch is going to be all 3D as well. So if you look at the real thing on the Astute, the escape hatch on the back is inserted into the hull, so the mold's going to be the same. So you'll have a 3D. You'll actually have an insert where the escape hatch is at the back as well, and on the same on the vents and everything. They will all be inserted into the hull. So it's going to be quite cool. I don't know what I'll do without 3D printers. Without resin printing, you couldn't do all this detail. Not like my predecessor did with lithoplate. Have no idea how he managed to put all that detail on. Incredible, really. But yeah, so hopefully I'll get that out soon. We've got shows starting up, so that'll start taking up time.
Now, are you still on lockdown?
Yeah, so we're coming out now. They've sent the schools back, and we got 2 weeks. Was it 3 weeks? And then they might change their mind again. Is it, Tim? But in theory, we should be allowed back down the lakes on the 12th of April. That's the theory, but I highly doubt that's going to happen. It's more likely change again. Knowing this lot, I mean, Boris is he's playing it quite close at the moment, so he might change his mind again. Knowing him.
Yeah, but you look what happened today. We got 13 degrees Celsius today, and everyone's down out and about.
Yeah, it was heaving down here today. Everybody going back to their boat because they ain't been near it for the last 6 months. But we'll see what happens. I wouldn't be surprised if we go back into an extended lockdown myself. Wow. I mean, I'm praying not to because I really want a show. Because I've got in theory, I've got a show booked in on the 30th and the 31st of May. But I really, really doubt that I'm going to go. It's not in them. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on that. But the Navy, we go back into uniform next week. So that's good. So at least we're going back on the duty next week.
So you'll be running around in some inflatables again.
Yeah, by the looks of it. Yeah.
Good.
So it'd be nice. It's been November since the last time I was in uniform. So it'd be quite nice to get back into it and get back in the swing. I've got so many courses to do updates and everything else. I've got first aid course. So that'll be interesting. But that's every 5 years, I think, first aid. Tim, you should get fucking John on this.
No. I don't want to ruin anyone's hobby.
What? Yesterday, the other day, I was on the phone for about hour and a half talking about lizards. It was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But he's such a clever man. He could bamboozle everybody.
Yeah. He's a decent guy, but yeah.
No, get him on
the wrong place.
Fair dude. But
thanks for heads up, Ed. I didn't even know there was one going on.
Heads up on what?
You're muted.
Yeah, I texted Bob to join him. So yeah, that's what, because I know you got some questions.
I do, but the other guys not
here. I had. I'm sorry. This was the first free moment I had with schooling.
Oh, it's all good, brother. It's all good.
Yeah. So I know you have questions. So maybe these guys can help you. I know that.
I can't remember. Well, okay. So we figured out the thing. So last week we talked about this controller for the pistons. But I realized that I've got to have this. I'm just not going to use this part of it. But what I texted Ed about the other day, I don't know if you can see this. MAMA. Looking through the circuit, it appears that it doesn't care about polarity. You just have to hook up positive and negative, or positive and negative, whichever on the A's, and then the M is the motor side for fill and empty.
Yeah.
So,
No, he doesn't care about the outputs. It's only the inputs you got to worry about.
right. Well, the new ones of these, they have a specific diagram of positive, negative, motor one, motor two.
Yeah.
So I just got to play with it, plug it in. I've got to get the rest of my wiring done. I've done actually a fair amount on the, let's see if I can turn this around.
For the record, Bob and I was hoping Steve can join us. Hope to have those big 688s running at Cahuta.
Anyway, so I've done a bunch of drilling and figuring out where things have got to go. And one of my buddies, when Ed owned the boat, he had a catastrophic failure of a roof. He'd already cut out all of the ballast tank vents in the front.
I was young and impetuous.
And he had done the rear as well. But then he had a roof cave in and smashed this.
Oh, God.
Oh,
And
no.
And a buddy of his did all the body work. But hang on, let me switch this back. His buddy had done all the body work, but he never got the holes cut out again. Well, I was going to use a soft template and get out there with the drill and a file and all that stuff. And then I got talking to a buddy of mine, and he created an aluminum template. And I'm just going to go in. I've got a Dremel with a kind of an attachment that I can just put a drill bit in, and I can just face to the corners of each opening. And I think it's going to make the work a whole lot easier.
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
that's the way to go with it. Absolutely.
It was pretty cool. And he just took him a couple of hours, and he says, here you go. Have a nice day.
I've got to admit, that's one
friends
thing.
in all places.
That's one thing I've got. I brought myself a little CNC machine. So it's a tabletop CNC machine and stuff like that. You can just mill out, and it makes life so much easier. And for what, $100, they're worth their money.
Yeah.
I mean, I do it with a laser cutter. I need to make 10 plates for the end cap, so I just laser cut it, done, and I've got drill holes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ed, you're muted again.
That roofing accident that Bob's talking about also took out the front end of my Teskey Proteus, which I'm trying to rebuild now.
Looking pretty good.
Destroyed out all these window frames and those, so I'm rebuilding that. It's going to kind of work out nice because where it joins the hull, these bars will grab and keep the front end from moving up.
Is that going to be a totally sealed unit?
Say again?
Is that going to be a totally sealed unit?
No.
Oh.
No.
You're not going to have an interior or anything.
You may change your mind if I think I know what track Tim was just about to go down.
I don't have a working miniaturizer, if that's what you're talking about. Not yet.
Give Tim 5 minutes and you will do. Oh dear.
How you coming on yours, Steve?
Well, I wish I could report great progress, but I've got so many irons in the fire. It's going real slow. I'll get it though. It won't take much. It's not going to be that involved. So,
well, for me, it's really involved because I have no idea what I'm doing. But I did see a thing on your new boat. You were asking about that that fin that sticks out the bottom of your boat. I saw that on the Virginia class, right?
No, this is a Columbia class, and I saw it in one image that was like a conceptual drawing of it,
Huh,
and it called it a rudder.
okay.
Whether it functions or not, I have no idea. I don't know. I've fixed it so that it doesn't move. I don't want to fool with it.
Yeah,
I don't
why?
think it's going to be a big deal anyway, but
Right.
it's there. But there's plenty of turning surface on that X-tail to make that thing come about. So
Well,
You know what?
according to-
I'm thinking a little bit about that, why they might call it a rudder. And I'm just wondering if it might be stupid. It's just assuming things. When we had a casualty, if we had a casualty on the sub between the ship's control panel and the hydraulics in the stern, where the control surfaces were, we could actually talk with them back aft, and they can operate them locally. Now that's easy for a stern plane and for a rudder, but if you're trying to do an X-tail, you would have to do the math in your head, unless they're mechanically mixing them. So I'm just wondering if this rudder is just an emergency rudder.
I don't know.
They'd have to counteract the forces of the busted X-tail if that wasn't working. But you don't want to be without a rudder at sea.
No.
Yeah. I wondered about running on the surface, if it would play more of a part while running on the surface.
Maybe.
I would
Something
think.
like that, but
Can I ask, does it say if it's retractable or not?
doesn't say. There's so little information.
Right, so I'm just glancing at the Astute plans, and I've got something similar on the bottom of the Astute, okay? And it says it's retractable. I don't know how well you can see these. No, you can't really. Where are we? So I'm just trying to guide it up on the camera. There's the back end. There it is. Can you see that there in front of the rear in the bottom of the rudder?
Yeah.
Yeah. It is called Standby Drive Retractable. That's all it's called on it.
We have that in that's what this space is in the.
The secondary propulsion. We call it the secondary propulsion motor.
Right, okay. So it's nothing to do with that then. I mean, I'm a surface boy. I'm not a bubblehead, so I don't really know the ins and outs of these things. But I remember you mentioned it. There was plans on the floor. I remember you mentioned it the other day, and then I already saw it on the Astute plans. I was like, okay, I wonder if that's the same thing. I will not be putting that on the model. That will stay well off the model. No.
Hey,
Where's the rivet counters?
you're not too old. You're not too old to transfer over to the sub fleet, are you?
No, I'm not. I like driving my own boat. That's why I like being coxswain. It's much more fun.
Okay. You're qualified coxswain.
Yeah.
What a name! What a name!
What, being a coxswain?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry.
It gets worse.
The pilgrims that messed the word up.
Yeah, I get it. I know it's been around for a long time. It's just always amused me.
To be fair, it is quite funny, yeah. But no, I tell you what though, it is the best job in the fleet.
I bet.
Yeah. When you spend your time driving around at 62 knots, it's great fun. Especially when the skipper of the real ship tells you what's wrong, and you're like, yeah, I'm not listening to you because it's my own boat. Yeah, I had a Commodore in my rib in Gibraltar, and he was misbehaving. I'm sure he was just doing it because he was enjoying himself, but I told him to sit back down in his seat. I did say, sir, but he done as he was told. But no, it's definitely a cool job. But
does anyone else got any things they're stuck on?
I took a different approach to mounting my radio in the conning tower. If you want to see that.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
It's
This
a, little,
2.4.
it's a little rough, but hold on. We got
We
a
don't want to see it if it's rough.
no
Now.
picture of it,
Look at you.
but it's underneath.
That's not what she said.
now, Ed.
Hold on, I'll take the deck off and it'll make it easier.
I'm just not. I can see all these innuendos just slowly falling out of the mist.
It's all part of the recording. So
Absolutely. Yeah. Bob advertises it. This is what they do. They take the mick out of one another on a regular basis. Yep.
See, it's one of those watertight compartments, and I mounted
yeah.
it so it slides up into the conning tower. And
That's
if I
fine.
have to access it, I just flip the lever, and she'll just opens up like this, you know, to get at it. But all the wires will be potted in underneath, going down into the sub, and then it slides right up into the conning tower or sail, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it's going to work out great.
I suppose that's going to work in
I don't
your
know if you-
favor as well with the buoyancy as well, isn't it?
Plus, I have the thing mounted upside down, so even if where all the wires go in and out leak, it's going to have a bell jar effect, you know, because it's up in the sealed part of the container.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I might be being an idiot here, but I assume that's actually going to help in stability with your buoyancy, having your air up in the tower like
It
that.
should when it's when it's submerged. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen this, but Ed and Bob have, I think, seen it. You see these cylinders here in the front of my boat and in the back of the boat?
Yeah.
It's a pain in the neck to pick up this deck. So they're hydraulic. When I push a button, the deck comes up so I can access the batteries and everything.
Wow.
Smooth like that.
I have a lot of time. I'm retired.
No,
I
When you
saw
say
this.
hydraulic, when you say hydraulic, what does that mean exactly?
It's a pump that just pushes water in and out. I tried air, but air compresses and you don't get a smooth lift. So Dave Merriman suggested using water in there. So it pumps its own water, you know, because it's in water now. So it just
Yeah, but
pumps water in and out.
You're gonna pop the top when you got this thing in the lake?
No, you can't. How can? What do you? Oh, that would. It
What's
wouldn't
the
do anything. It's all watertight.
No. What I'm saying is, what supplies the water?
The lake. Actually, I have another bottle.
What I'm
Its
asking
own
you
fresh water. That
is, you
comes
have this
out.
hydraulically operated to pop the top, but it needs to be in the lake to pop the top. But you want to pop the top in the lake. So when are you going to pop the top?
Ed, can you just say that really quickly?
I have a chicken and the egg thing going on here in my head.
It's in the. It's
say
got.
that 3 times fast.
It's only like an ounce of water, and it's in a container, so it just reads
Okay.
the same.
It would be kind of cool though to have that in the lake and all of a sudden the deck lifts up and
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to do that, what you've got to do is have neon lights running down the inside of the deck. So as it opens, you just go big blue lights across the deck and big, and you know what I mean?
Well, it sounds like the cars in LA. With
Yeah. Make sure you got the thing
hydraulic.
like that.
All kidding aside, I live about 20 minutes from Frank. This thing is a Cadillac.
Nice.
I don't know if he's ever going to get it wet. And that's the running joke here. Because every time we turn around, he's got the crash door windows operating. He's got missile tubes. He's got, I'm waiting to see the flying sub come down and take off. But
Now, I lost all that space. That was going to happen.
Ed, you know what the saying is, mate? If you ain't prepared to lose it, don't use it.
will it be at
I had to
Subfest?
Drone?
oh, look at that. That's
Drone like
really
that.
cool.
I didn't
Gonna
get
have
you
it
more.
at Subfest?
No, I'm not gonna go there.
Frank, come on.
I don't know. We'll see.
You're only
know
an
what?
hour from
Yeah, he's gonna go. He's gonna wear a size 11, and the doctor will have to get it. He's going.
I'm actually thinking about planning a coming in 2022.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Frank, that lake would be perfect for the sea view. I'm not kidding.
Absolutely.
I'm not kidding. Ask Bob here. When we were running my boat off that dive platform, it was incredible.
Yeah. You can, it's way fun, and it's huge.
Yeah. You know, I'm a fan of Groton just because sentimentality and having been and signed it at base. But this lake is sweet.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Google
gonna
it.
have to be tried and true. This is my first sub.
Well, but you're kind of, the lake is just kind of walking out. I mean, you can be in it from your ankles to the top of your head with no problems. So you're not going to lose your boat.
The bottom of it's
Well,
concrete.
that's what I like.
Yeah.
We have a lake here, Lake Ronkonkoma, and it's so deep. If you lose your boat, kiss it goodbye.
Yeah, you won't do that in this lake.
No,
Steve was there.
Frank,
Yeah.
we talked about Lake Ronkonkoma. That's a tough call on your part. But your boat was made for this lake, or vice versa. I don't know what you want to call it. It's the ultimate running pond for a sci-fi boat like that.
Yeah.
And that perfect for that then.
Oh, absolutely.
The
Oh, yeah,
bottom of
that would
it is
be
concrete.
beautiful for that. I'm telling you, Matt, when you're gonna stand over on the dive platform, overlooking it, it's phenomenal.
It
Yeah,
was awesome.
I don't even know how I'm going to do the logistics yet of getting boats out there, out to you guys, because obviously I'm going to want to play with my own boat. So it's most probably going to end up being either the Stingray or my little Akula, because it's the only thing I can really get in a nice case to come out with.
Just put it in your rowboat and start rowing. If you start now, you'll be there in time.
Well, to be fair, I could take the narrowboat. At least I don't have to row.
Yeah,
But
Bob.
it's a bit rough in a flat bottom boat.
No, you're standing when you're on that dive platform, Frank. When you're on that dive platform, you're 10 foot above the water.
Yeah.
We
And the
had a
boat
little bit of
goes under
visibility
you.
problems. We had, because it had just rained, we had a little bit of visibility problems on the first day, but Saturday and Sunday was spectacular as far as clarity.
I had a part fall off my Nautilus. The bottom hatch came off my Nautilus, and my son took his mask and fins and went down and found it for me. And because it's concreted bottom up to the deepest part, there's no trash to get caught in, no weeds or algae or anything like that.
Wow.
I'm definitely
What
looking
is it? Red Clay Resort? Is that the name of it, Ed?
Yeah.
Google it, Frank. It's pretty stunning.
They call it the swimming hole. They're the
There's all
local.
sorts of pictures online of the regatta.
Yeah, it was really. I mean, I watched the live video. It wasn't really good, but what I did see was awesome. But my question to you guys who have been there: where is good for accommodation around there?
Do you like camping?
Yeah.
You could camp right there. We could get up at 3 a.m. and run the boat.
Well, what's more important? Where's the nearest pub?
Yeah.
Where's the nearest pub?
I stayed when I was there. My wife and I stayed in Chattanooga, and that was
got
about
all accommodations down.
Right up the road
about
is a
25
place.
miles away.
Yeah, right up the road
Go on.
is a place that a pretty cool little restaurant. Beer, barbecue, whatever. The Red Wolf Grill, or I can't remember what they call it, but it's a pretty cool place. And we had dinner there one evening sitting outside on picnic tables, and it was just fabulous.
And they've got food there as well.
Yeah, they can
some
bring food in there, or we can
Steve, brought
cater
your
it in, or
Steve, you brought your wife?
no, I didn't. I brought my son, my youngest son. He was with me.
There
They
were
camped
plenty of
out.
wives
You
there,
guys
though.
slept right out underneath the podium, one of the covered picnic table areas.
Yeah, we were on a cot underneath one of the shelters.
Yeah.
Nice.
In
Yeah,
a
see,
few- In a few
I-
weeks, this place inspired me so much. In a few weeks, I'm going to buy an 8 to 12 foot cargo trailer to haul the boats down, and I'm going to build in a berth so I can sleep in it there at night. Because I'm going to get up at 2 a.m. and run my boat.
why not? I
That-
mean, there is nothing like a bit of night sailing.
It's
I mean,
fenced in too.
didn't they have a fire going all night, Steve?
Yeah, that back in the back, there was the guy that was there, kind of like the groundskeeper, Alan. Very
Alan.
nice guy, very accommodating. He had a big bonfire going that, we sat around and had some beers and hung out. And anyway, he slept in a hammock.
And by the way,
I can't
they were
forget
very happy to have
night,
us there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
we left no mess. Very minimal effort on their part for us to be there. I think it was great.
Now, Matt, I
Yeah.
am going to have to alert you to one thing.
Go on then.
It's the land of the Second Amendment. There was at the yard right across the street in the afternoon. The guy starts target practice with his 9mm.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, okay. So as long as that doesn't freak you out. I mean, I look at my son, he goes, "Hey Dad, look what you can't do in New York." And he shows his concealed carry. Everybody
They're
As
still
long-
fighting. They're
starts
still
doing
fighting.
that.
Listen, as long as he lets me play with the Glock, I don't mind. I'm 9mm trained
Okay.
anyway. So it's fine. I'm SA80, GPMG, minigun, and 30 cal. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that.
Oh, and we can go up the road and rent the machine gun if you want.
How can you say you're an SA80 trained? It only lasts 30 rounds and it blows up.
No, that was the Mark 1, not the Mark 2. The Mark 2 does at least 60 before the barrel starts to walk.
It always made me laugh when I was working on the army base. I walked into the armory. It was next to the clothing store where I worked, and I went, "Why have we got M16s and SA80s?" He went, "Well, the SA80 is for when we want to go and play. The M16 is when war's declared."
Exactly. I'll tell you what, though, right? The best weapon I've ever shot was a 4.5. H. Smith Richmond's 4.5. I actually sat there with my foot on the pedal and shot that. I've got the shell to prove it.
Hey,
That was
Matthew,
fun.
I just got a Barrett 50 cal.
Oh,
Wow.
awesome.
Nice.
So,
Yeah.
you can go to California. Well, you used to. I don't know about since COVID, but you could actually get trained in a ball turret and go up in a B-17 and shoot blanks from the ball turret.
How
Wow.
cool is that?
Look it up on YouTube. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
In
Wow.
California.
It's trying to think of who it is.
Flying
Hold on.
Heritage.
Yeah.
It's Flying Heritage.
The only target I've ever shot is a killer tomato off the back of the ship. No, it was good though. The minigun's a good one. If you ever get a chance to fire one of them.
Hey, Frank.
Okay,
Frank,
so Matthew,
Yeah.
you're gonna host it next year?
What, the shooting?
No, the Subfest.
Well, we have got a sub event in the UK. We got one in September that I'm running at my club, and we can run one. I mean, we've been talking about doing one at my club anyway, because our water is clear. It's like gin clear. So it's quite nice for submarines. And also you've got a canal, and you go down there, and it takes you straight into the shopping centre, into the mall. So you can get a coffee and tea and drive your boat at the same time, which is really quite nice.
be honest, that will probably be the best one if we organise one because it's near an airport as well.
Yeah, it's right by Gatwick, isn't it? Gatwick.
Yeah.
Needs
Well, you think about Bourneville or Papplewick, they're in the middle of nowhere.
Oh yeah, but Bourneville. Yeah,
That's
no.
kind of the way Red Clay was, is you could sit there on the beach and drink your coffee, have your hot dog, whatever. It was
Yeah. See,
Nice bar.
Yeah, see, the thing I love about my club is, number one, the toilets are next to you, so you don't have to walk half a mile to go to the loo. You've got a hut where you can get a cup of tea and a cup of coffee, biscuits,
Yes.
and you know what us Brits are like. Got to have a cup of tea on a regular basis. Like I've just run out. But
yeah, the only downside is you've got 90% chance of rain, so we can never have a decent weekend.
True, but hey, submarines are permanently wet, so it doesn't bother us, does it? Really? And we've got, yeah, go for it,
Frank.
Matt, you got to give me your email so I can send you a pic. You know, I'm very accurate with this Sea View. Whatever the Sea View has, I have on there that works, and it had a laser on it. Send me your email. I'll show you the working laser that's on there.
Yeah, no. What's your email?
Imagine that 2 a.m.
Hang on, I'll put the thing.
And let me tell you, Frank,
Yeah.
if you're worried about the logistics, Frank drives a Jeep, 4-door. If you're worried about 2-door, you're worried about the logistics. We put it in the trailer with my boats.
By then, I hope to have a 4-door.
Well, you're not going to drive down there with the ass end of this thing sticking out.
No, it fits in a 4-door. It doesn't fit in my 2-door.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but just let Ed haul it for you, and then you don't have any worries.
If we go down, we 2 cars going down together.
One going forward, one going backwards.
Hey, Frank's the backyard plumber.
I've just stuck you on the chat.
Mechanic.
Are there any hotels down there near Subfest?
Yes.
Sweet, because I think Lauren's going to come. So I think my partner in crime, who kicks me up the backside on a regular basis, knows we're going to join it. So
Yeah, there's a few hotels around there.
Sweet.
They're I think they're within 30 minutes. I know mine was within 30 minutes.
I stayed in Chattanooga, which was 25 minutes away.
Yeah.
It was easy.
Cool.
And Chattanooga's a pretty cool town. A hell of a lot better than Memphis.
Where's the best place for us to fly into?
Oh,
Here.
yeah. Steve would probably know that.
But
You
he
should
left.
ask. Bob's going to wind up flying there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but I can't fly a plane from the UK.
I'll bet Bob doesn't fly to Georgia. I'll bet he drives to Georgia.
It's 10
He'll have
hours.
too much stuff. He'll have too much stuff.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if he's bringing stuff, if he's bringing his subs and stuff.
Yeah.
It'll be a 9 to 10 hour drive for me. That's for sure.
For you? 9 or 10?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in Pennsylvania.
It'll be
13 for me.
about 30 hours for me.
It's 13 hours for me.
Nice. Well, from the UK, it's more likely going to be nearly 24.
Oh. You might could find a connecting flight to Chattanooga. That might be a good place for you to fly into.
I mean, when nearer the time, I'll start sorting the logistics out because I've got to think about bringing a submarine with me. I most probably bring one. It's just depending on what one I bring.
No, you're gonna bring Stingray.
You're at Stingray, do you?
Yeah, I'm telling you, you're gonna bring Stingray. That's about you.
Yeah, does that mean? See, I could always send it to Batchy. The theory, I could send them to Bob by post.
Yeah,
because it takes 3 days to get to Bob from here. So in theory, I could send them to Bob and get them to send them back to me. All right, I have to pay the fucking duties on it, but who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Or you might want to send it to Ed in case Frank is correct about Bob and Bob flying.
Yeah, fair one.
Well, I don't give a shit. If I fit it, you're there.
Well, I don't think you have a problem with Stingray. But now the question is, what if I bring the Vanguard? Because because I really do love that boat.
It's a beautiful boat.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful. I tell you,
I was gutted, Ed. Do you know, I sent that Monday. You should have had it by now.
I know.
Actually, I may have sent it last week, actually. Yeah, I got it back Monday, messed up. So, yeah, I sent it last week. Flipping bollocks.
I got all the parts. The bin right there. S31 is on it.
Nice. Are you doing Vengeance? Are you doing Vengeance, are you?
Huh?
Which one are you doing? Vengeance.
Vengeance.
Yes.
That's a name for a boomer.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, no. The other, you know what the other names are, don't you?
Yeah, Valiant, right? No.
Yeah, Valiant, Vengeance, Victorious. I mean, Victorious. What?
I know that's good, but I
need to shoot.
See you later, Tim.
You nuked me. Vengeance.
Ah, fair enough. Yeah, no, it's I've got mine as Vanguard, obviously, because it's Vanguard. That was the first one I made. But I've made for customers now. I've got 2 that are going out, and one's Vengeance and one's Victorious. Yeah, I'm like happy days.
Listen,
obviously, I stick that on there, don't I? The name's there. You go. There's the number.
Oh, look at that! There you go.
Yeah, so that's Vanguard, and I got Vengeance over the other side.
You gotta find a supplier of patches. I'm looking to find that emblem. The guy sold it on me. I couldn't get it to you.
Really?
Yeah.
I waited for that. I waited for it. But well. Was it? I tried. So I made a stand for my Vanguard, and I'm going to start selling the stands.
Okay.
I did a plaque, but I tried to engrave the ship's plaque onto the stand, and it was just too it was too fragmented. Yeah. I need a proper photo, and it was just crap, really.
Yeah.
But the stands have come out really easy, and they're really quick to make. I just laser cut them, and they're clear, and I can make them to any shape. So it's like, all right. So that I'll mostly just stick them on the website. So, but I mean, I'm enjoying. It takes me more time, but I really do enjoy. Was it personalising these? So they tell me which one they've got. So I've got them all on the list, and I just press print, cut. But putting them together does take some time.
Yeah.
I think I made 5 this week, all at different stages and all different materials. So this is the polycarb. I made more PVC ones though. A lot of people don't mind the drain pipes, so that's quite good. It's cheaper as well. But now there's a subhead. I'll bring the LA. I don't know how I'll get it there, but I'll bring the LA. The 9-foot monstrosity.
That's gonna be nice. The more LAs, the better.
Scale or
say again?
What scale is that?
1/48.
Yeah, same scale.
No, 1/48 or 1/40th. I can't remember.
Be 1/40th because 1/48 is 7.5.
Yeah, so it's 9 foot long, so it's 1/40th. Yeah, it was the molds were made for the film Sub Down. So I've got the LA and I've got the Alpha, which were from the film. Yeah, they were made by Shearline, but not Shearline, Eden. So 2 before me. And yeah, I only know of I think 6 LAs. Oh no, sorry, 4 LAs and 6 Alphas are actually out in the world. I don't know of any more. Chris never made them, but Dennis did. And I've made 1 LA, and I kid you not, I don't want to do that again in a hurry. They're big, and they take a lot of time to make those hulls to get them lightweight and strong. Yeah, I think I worked on the top hull for about a week to get it before I was absolutely 100% happy with it.
What movie were you referring to?
Sub Down. It was called. I think it was a pile of crap, but
okay.
It was in the 90s. I think Sub Down was.
Okay.
Load of literature here for it. Let's have a look.
Did anybody see that movie Hunter Killer? I think was the name of it. It's last couple of years with
Yeah.
what a POS. I mean, to me, it was a POS. Can you imagine an executive officer talking to his captain in front of his guys like that?
Look, it was eye candy.
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
what it is. You suspend belief. Like, that's a typical, like, take Crimson Tide. Crimson Tide is a joke. I have served on a fleet ballistic missile submarine. If the three officers if one does not agree, there is no launch. There is no captain saying, I got to launch and a boomer is never used as a first strike weapon.
Yep.
The purpose of a fleet ballistic missile submarine is a deterrent. It's the last. When we've launched our weapons, you have been dead for 20 minutes.
Yep.
Okay? In that case, they would have sent a 688 with nuclear tipped Tomahawks to take out one base. Okay. The president always had the final order to launch. All these guys are sitting there. That it's not a captain would never say. The crew would beat the fucking guy up because he is not following orders. That was the joke of that movie.
Right.
He'd get killhorned, wouldn't he?
Oh, they would have beat the shit out. There'd be no pulling of guns. The three officers have to authenticate. We were taught that from day one in sub school.
And it's the same with us as well.
Yes. By the way, I saw something recently on you guys, a Vanguard doing a weapons DASO demonstration and operation launch.
Oh yeah.
Very
Did
cool.
you see?
The orders are almost exactly the same in the control room. Very similar. Spin up all missiles. This is the captain. The one that said condition 1SQ. All that. Almost identical.
But what you got to realize is obviously we're using American systems, so try American. So everything's pretty much the same. Also, on our subs, we don't just have Brit crews; we also have American crews. That they're into. That's why they're so close.
Oh,
So
I never knew that.
Yeah, so a lot of your American officers who are training in the subs come to the UK and train here, and vice versa. So it's very mixed. I mean, when I was at HMS Raleigh doing courses and stuff, the amount of times you'd walk into, I say, Americans doing a sub course or something like that, because of our. Have you heard of FOST and BOST?
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Right. So in the Navy, in the Royal Navy, we have what we call FOSTs, which are don't ask me what the terminology are, but they do all our testing for going to war.
Okay.
And we have what they got OST, BOST, and there was another one. I can't remember what the other one was. Anyway, these are all training scenarios we do over a month or 6 weeks. Oh, DTC. But so basically they do this for the submarines as well, and that's a lot harder course. That's a lot harder for the skippers to do,
right?
Than I think anywhere in the world, and that's why the Americans and the Canadians come over to us to do that particular training with our guys. And a lot of skippers are just not, if they fail once, that's it. They're shoreside. They're not on the ships anymore or the boomers anymore. They're very strict when it comes to being a submarine. And this is why I look, listen, I like driving boats. I stay on the surface. It's much more fun. All right, I've got 20 minutes to live, not 30 minutes like you guys have, but fine. If I see the flash of light, I'll drive into it. It's all good.
Oh, yeah. If you're going to see it, you might as well enjoy it.
Exactly. I'll put it all over Instagram.
That's like when the asteroid comes, I want to know where ground zero is. I'm going to go find ground zero and sit under it and watch it come in, because I wouldn't want to be alive afterwards.
No, exactly. And I hope, and I'm sure to God that scenario where things go wrong that badly, I don't think will happen. But you never know.
Right.
And I don't want to think about it. I'm hopefully not serving by then.
Steve,
But
Steve, are you putting a anchor light on your Fairwater?
An anchor light.
Ed can speak to this.
Oh, I had an idea. Steve, you remember, I like to moor my boat.
Yeah.
You know, because it's a pain in the ass. You put it in, you take it out, you put it in, you take it out.
You just put it in and leave it.
I put it in and I turn it on and off with the 433 remote switch, 433 megahertz remote switch. So I got an idea. When I'm in the off mode, when it's in standby, I'm gonna have a little white anchor light on it.
Yeah.
So I can look at the boat and know that there's nothing wrong. It's still powered up. And because I remember I must have had some leaking out of the main ballast. It was sitting a little low. I just clicked it, pumped up the main ballast tank. She sat, real cool. Turned it back off. But that anchor light, and also if we're running at night, I don't want some idiot to run into it.
Yeah.
So you need to put up your main mast then, don't you? On an extendable rod.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that.
Because you got your amber light. You obviously got your amber flashing light saying I'm restricted on my ability to maneuver. That's obviously if you're on the surface, which is the truculent light.
Well, so the point of the question is has Steve decided where he's going to put his? Does he have any information on how that actually looks?
Yeah, we got to talk to that other guy, Matt.
Well, I was just wondering if Steve had run onto anything regarding.
I had not. I asked a question about lights on the boats, I think last time. Wondering what color was on the rudder.
Oh, that's a white light. That's a stern light.
It's a white light, yeah. And with this Columbia, because I have essentially two fins sticking up out of the water, do I put one on one or the other or both? Or,
Right.
I don't know that it matters. This thing is completely a concept, in my opinion, because it's so new. We don't have anything to really go by. So
right, but as long as you've only got one light facing rear, it's fine. If you have two lights, white lights facing rear, it's got a total new meaning, and you will call God, I can't remember what it is now, but you wouldn't see two white lights as a rear of a vessel. It will
you'd only see one.
You'd only see one steaming light, yeah.
Okay, so I was going to put a white light on one of the fins on the back, and then I was going to do the red and the green on either side of the sail. And then I think Ed was talking about a light. I guess it's another white light that comes up off of one of the masts that has
the steaming light or masthead light.
And you said it has a pulse to it, so it's like blink, blink, blink.
No,
right, that's a different light in total. That's an orange light.
That's the amber submarine ID beacon. Flashes yes. More dot, 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 dot.
Okay.
Dot, dot, dot.
But it's amber, you say?
Amber or yellow.
Yeah. Okay.
It basically means you're restricted in your ability to maneuver. So you're too fat to move around. Yeah.
Now, where is that located?
Now, the UK, you guys use a quick flashing light, right? For the
Yeah, it means the exact same thing. All it is just an amber flashing light. I mean, we even put it on our tanks.
Yeah, it just means, like you said, a vessel restricted in its ability to maneuver.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a 360, and that's a 360 vision on that.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Same, and it would be the same on the anchor light. Is that correct?
Yeah. Way around.
Yeah. So I wasn't going to get too terribly picky about angles and viewing. I could care less. I'm going to use little sub micro LEDs, tiny little things. I've got a controller coming. I just ordered today that I can program to flash or do whatever I want. And I'm not going to get too crazy. I'm not a rivet counter. I never will be.
Yeah.
And, this boat is 3D printed. I think to a large extent, a lot of the models that, while they're exquisite, they're beautiful. And don't get me wrong, a lot of the panel lines and stuff that you see on them are way over scale for the size of the boats. Because you take a 196 sub, you probably would have a hard time seeing most of the panel lines on that, especially from a distance. I'm just saying that, but I mean, these bigger boats like I'm doing, I could see panel lines and stuff like that, but I don't even know where this Columbia would have them, so I'm not even gonna fool with it. You know, I'm gonna put round drain holes in the bottom and vent holes in the top. I'm not gonna square them off. Phooey on that.
I've always looked at it like this, okay? My operation, my radio controlled boats, they get dinged up.
Yeah.
Not by me,
Yeah.
but by other people. Now, I love eye candy like the next guy, but when you're 10 feet away, you don't see that,
No.
okay?
Yeah.
So it's a personal choice. Yeah, I dig it. It's a personal choice. I've seen people spend 10 years working on a boat with all that detail, and they're too afraid to put it in the water.
Oh no, thanks for that.
Kind of like an
I've seen
H-34
that.
helicopter at Red Clay, right?
Yeah, he wouldn't fly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, if you're not, as I said, if you've got a submarine, you're gonna use it, aren't you?
Yeah.
I mean, I did that for shits and giggles. I just started putting the detail on. You know, I thought, why not? I can
Right.
them
No,
up.
that's a personal choice. You know, it is. But I agree with you, Steve. I don't tend to be a nuts and bolts guy myself. I'm more of the engineering side. You know, I like the engineering side.
I wanted to run that big LA that I got when I was down there in Cohutta. You know, the individual who was trying to put that together had louvered torpedo doors, was using brass to make the hatch doors for the, the vertical launch tubes. And I mean, it was incredible what was being done, but yet I now have it.
Yeah, I like
it
that.
never got finished.
Yeah.
And now I have it, well, I'm not going to fool with that hokey business. I'm just going to deck it out, get it running. And some of that stuff I may just cover over. I don't know. Cause it's crazy, the detail, but at the same time, it's not for me.
Exactly.
Yeah. This is where my boat sort of win, because the detail's already done for you. Because obviously the guy who had them before me already done and scored all that detail. So it's already in the glass. You know it's not going to get damaged if it gets whacked. And that's exactly what I'm doing with the Astute. I'm doing the same way as I did the upholder. I'm making 3D panel parts out of my resin printer, putting them onto the hull, making a rubber mold from that. That'll get put away. That's never going in the water. But obviously, as a fiberglass hull, you have all that detail on. I mean, I never was a rivet counter. I've never been a rivet counter in my life. But I'll tell you what, doing this job, doing this business, is turning me into one. And I don't like it. But I mean, I know I've shown this so many times because I absolutely love this. But I didn't. You can just see the panel work on there. You can just see where that is done. And actually, when it's done like that, it actually looks all right because it's not. It's not in your face. It's nice and subtle when you look at it closely. I mean, as I said, Vanguard, bloody lovely boat, and I mean, I was really lucky to get this because basically Chris was going to chuck it in a skip. So I was like, no, I'll take that off. And that was made by the same guy who made the Trafalgar. So he was a really clever man. And I can't replicate it to save my life, but at least I can try it on the computer. But
Well, Ed
I'll
told me
wait to
that
get it back for this year.
I think Ed told me you're doing away with the bow-mounted plane, Steve.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I think Ed told me you're doing away with the bow-mounted planes and going.
Yeah,
with
I'm not going to do those. I'm going to go with the Fairwater planes. They came in the box with the parts.
USS Providence.
Providence, yeah.
Okay.
So
Looks better anyway.
I like it. I like a boat with the sailplanes. I can't help it. I'm sorry. It's just me.
No regrets.
Yeah.
Me too.
show you real quick if I can do this. Just hang on.
Okay.
Turn this thing around. I gotta turn off the background. Give me 1 second.
You know, it really blew my mind, Matt, that you told me that the Vanguard planes, the bow planes, don't retract.
No, they're not. They don't retract. No, they're permanently out.
The boat looks like it was designed for them to do that, though, with all the room up there. But
Yeah,
they don't retract.
No, and the same on the Astute, they don't retract.
That's awesome, Steve.
So here, you know, I don't have these fixed, but I've got the Photonics Mass, and these are just aluminum. I didn't get too crazy. Now this one here is where my 2.4 gig antenna will go. This is
Okay.
3D printed and then attached to the top of this aluminum tube. So nothing too fancy. And again, I don't know what this is going to end up being in the real world because nobody's seen one yet, but I kind of copied what I did with the Ohio because it's kind of like taking a Virginia and Ohio and smushing them together in a way with the tail turned sideways. But, you know, this thing here is held on with 2 screws from underneath the flanges, front and back. And then I've got my servo in here for the sailplane. And I've got a tube here for the snorkel. And then there's a clip that will hold the antenna so that it keeps it up inside the mast. And then this thing here, I mean, this is 3D printed ASA plastic. And I mean, you can see how it behaves. I mean, it's like a fiberglass hull for all intents and purposes. So I printed it all in ringed sections, just the perimeter shell, in other words. So I designed it as a solid model with sections, okay? And then I just printed the perimeter only, and then I took a razor saw and split it. And it only took me like 45 minutes to cut both links of that, open it up. And then I added strips so that I have these key lock kind of a situation here. So it drops down, it locks on, and it just slides back, and it's caught the entire length of it. So it makes the whole thing like a big rigid tube in a way.
Cool.
How long does that take you to print?
Oh, it's been weeks, but a lot of it is I'm designing as I go. You know, if you were to just sit down and start printing parts with everything already designed and you didn't have to worry about it, maybe 2.5, 3 weeks for everything.
Yeah, I know what you mean there, Steve. I mean, I don't know if I can flip my screen. This is my pad. I've actually got the plans. Hang on, I'll zoom out. So I've got the plans of the Astute in front of me, and I'm literally just sketching over the plans and then pulling them out to get them into 3D. And this is what I've been doing with all of it. So I've also got, so if I go to this section here, so there's all the plate work detail. But when you go to the tower, you've got so much different plate work and so much different to do along that. I'll sketch that all out, and then I'll net fab it, cut it to fit on my printer bin, and then I'll just stick it to the side of the hull. But that's how I've done my ribs as well. So I've laser cut the ribs, and I just sketched them out on the plan, and then I just stuck them straight into the laser cutter. As you can see, it's kind of time. It's really time consuming, and I know exactly how long it takes.
I've got, I mean, I did do ribs, like these ribs here.
Yeah.
Okay. With holes in the bottom so that water will drain through, no big deal. But when I put this together, I used just a strip at the joint to join the pieces together as I built this thing long until it was completely put together. And then I split it. And then I added these channel pieces and these ribs. I didn't put the ribs in the top. I really don't think it's necessary. But, you know, then I just have, these plates, and I got to cut some slots in these for Velcro straps. And I'm going to put the rubber grippy shelf liner material. You've seen it. It's perforated, different colors. It's kind of foamy. I glue that down here, and then it doesn't shift. Nothing shifts around. So the straps will go up over it and hold it down. But all I'm doing is just, you know, fit this in here and I'll glue it in place. And I got one for the batteries, one for the watertight box, one for the motor assembly, ESC. All this is modular. So I can take this out of another boat and transfer it over with minimal effort. A few screws. I'll leave the ballast tanks in it. These are just mounted on posts and they'll glue down in place. They are removable. So I'll get my solenoids in the tops of these, cut the holes in the bottom. You know, I'm almost to the point of completing the wiring on this. I gotta create a brand new gas backup assembly for this, but that won't take long. And anyway,
it's pretty cool.
I'm really impressed with this ASA and how this has all gone together. It's very solid, very strong. So,
I mean, by looking at how many batteries you're going to have in that, you'll be able to run that for a weekend without charging it.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah,
I've got
it's
smaller
good.
batteries.
It's awesome.
My Nautilus has smaller ones in it, and it doesn't last as long, running essentially the same motor. But they're skinnier, smaller, lighter weight, whatever. So these should provide a lot more power. But
yeah, the whole reason with the power issue was the one reason why I pulled away from solenoid valves, because I couldn't believe how much juice that they were sucking.
Yeah.
I got this for free, and you know, free is good. Free can be. That's going to power the 688.
Nice.
Yeah, and I figure with that 4-to-1 gear reduction, maybe I'm drawing an amp because look, guys, I cruise. I barely get a wake on with that periscope. Right, Bob. Bob was actually running a little fast for but I just like to ghost along. So I could be sitting in a lawn chair at the lake, and somebody will walk by me, and I'm there with the transmitter, fat, dumb, and happy, and they go like this. And they don't say anything. And one guy, and he looked at me, he shook his head, and he kept walking.
I mean, I use that in the Vanguard, and that's a 5-to-1.
Okay.
That's nice. Only draws an amp. They're lovely little motors, and
Yeah.
that's what I've got. And that's what I've got spinning the old 15 blade job. I mean, they don't need any.
That's going to be so cool.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
gonna be so cool.
Yeah, I can't wait. I tell you, I am pumped. I am pumped to. So, what's the rating on that motor? What's the no load RPM? Do you know?
Oh,
the
no,
motor
I've
in
got
my
it written
boat?
down somewhere.
What?
Are you talking to me, Ed?
No.
Me. I am not sure. I have it in a book somewhere. I'll have to dig it out and I'll send it to you over Facebook.
All right.
It's a 940D series MFA 5-to-1 gearbox.
With that fella, can you make frozen drinks?
Hey, yeah. I'll tell you what. I
love you, Frank.
I do as well. It's great.
I'm not afraid to say that.
I was using a Groutner 500 speed in my Trafalgar, and I used that WTC in the Vanguard. And what I found was it would suddenly torque twist really quickly, and I would lose all steering. Now, the one thing on the surface with these boats is the trick is to go slow.
Right.
You steer fine. You will have a bit of a wide turning circle, but if you go slow with the propulsion, you'll have all your control. As soon as you dive and you go underwater, that's when you open her up. I mean, when she's underwater, she is a total different beast. And I'll tell you what, it will glide. Yeah.
You know what a lot of people don't understand about any ship handling. You probably know it, Mr. Coxon. There's a term back in the day when we did piloting. Okay, I was a quartermaster. That was my claim to fame. So on the chart, we would draw exiting Holy Lock, coming down the Firth of Clyde, hitting around and heading out towards the Hebrides to head north. So it'd take about 18 hours to get to the dive point. And you draw the tracks out. Now, when the submarine or any ship turns, there are two components, advance and transfer. Okay, so you can, knowing a ship's advance and transfer is how you calculate the new base course. So a submarine is going to transfer for some line before it advances in one direction, left or right. And I found with my RC model subs, I do better at a slower bell on the surface. They're like, how do you get a turning radius? Because I'm not going Frank Bell. I'm not, you know, you think you're in a car. You're not. It's more like driving a forklift.
Does it have anything to do with? Does it have anything to do with cavitation or sucking air?
No. Well,
No.
yeah, if you get
Where
the
the
air
turning point
traffic,
is.
that's one thing, right? If you suck air into it. But it's if you're slow, you're not moving as far forward as you are transferring. So
Your turning radius is in the rear of the boat instead of the front.
yes. Well, the center, the center of gravity or whatever it is that Merriman always talks about. So I love slow scale maneuvering. And that I'm going to take to that Vanguard like a fish to water.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I'd say is I've said to everybody who's got a Vanguard, even a Trafalgar, and it will be the same with the Astute, take it slow on the surface, and then when you dive, that's when you open her up. And I'll tell you what, you'll be surprised how quick that thing shifts.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah, I mean, I was standing at one side of the lake. I got it down because we've got a harbour that I built for the club. So I do slow moving out of that. We got a buoy, going out, and then you just take the submarine nice and slowly out of that. And as soon as I get around my cardinal buoy, that's when I straighten up and I'll open up, flood the ballast tanks, down I go. And as soon as that water hits those dive planes, the forward ones, that's it. She's gone. And it's really quite amazing because the conning tower on the Vanguard's quite small. So when you see just the periscopes, people don't realize how much submarine is underwater. So you just see that tiny conning tower, and there's still another 4 or 5 feet of submarine behind it. The amount of people that mounted on top of where the missile silo is hilarious. But I mean, it's now become my favorite. I mean, Trafalgar was my favorite. But when I got the Vanguard, that kind of took over. And I'm sure once the Astute's done, that will become my next favorite. For the modern subs, anyway. For the old World War II, I've got a 32 parallel, 30 U-boat Type 7, 32 parallel. Lovely boat that is. But I'm changing the insides of it, making it WTC.
Matt, if
what
you make it to
diameter
Georgia
of the
this
prop
time,
that you had?
Right. Okay. Give me a sec. I'll get them calipers. I didn't know it. I just don't write these things down. All right.
Matt,
write
if you
down
make it to
that I-
Georgia this time, I'm sure somebody will let you drive their boat.
Stop thinking, Frank. Build a boat.
They look nice.
They do. They're gorgeous, and I'm getting one.
I'll make one.
Frank, do you want it in inches or do you want it in millimeters?
Doesn't make a difference. My inches is easier.
Look.
For you?
Let me be perfectly honest about the Americans. Most of us don't give a shit.
Oh, all right. Now.
We're not all Merriman trying to make a point about what unit.
As long as I have my phone, I don't care.
No,
Are you ready?
Yes.
Right. It's 2.3635.
Oh my God. It'll fit right in the sea view.
Yeah.
Do they make
Nice.
rotating?
No, unfortunately, he doesn't do it in the other direction. And if you ask Simon to do it, he might pull his hair out.
No, it doesn't make a difference because they're so close coupled. doing, trying to do that one forward and one reverse isn't going to make a difference, especially 8.5 feet.
Plus, if you
Yeah.
put stators in there to straighten it out, it ain't gonna make a difference.
I have stators.
Yeah.
Hey.
So
Yeah.
it's just at that point, it's just water coming straight back.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
no
I like the look.
It is mostly the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I mean, these were originally aluminium, and we were having so many problems with getting them cast in aluminium. We went to bronze. Yeah, they're a bit more expensive, but you know what? I think it was a really good shout going to bronze. They look so much better than what the old alley ones did, and they're much stronger.
What's that one?
That's a bronze.
That's a bronze one.
Yeah. I haven't got any aluminium ones now. I sent it off with someone's Vanguard to get chucked in the skip. But yeah.
And what does that cost about?
I think it was 35 pounds. I'll have a look. I'll find out for you.
How much it weighed.
At about 42 bucks a piece.
Sorry.
No, you missed it. No, you said it's pounds.
Speak English, man.
Don't listen to these guys, Matt.
You're all bullying me. It's all right. I will go on the website and find out what it is in dollars. Stand by.
I can do it on my phone.
I've heard you guys talking about NetFab, and I went and looked at NetFab, and it comes with a pretty pricey price tag to it. Is there a free version, or is there?
There is a free version.
You get it free when you get Fusion 360.
If you pay for it?
No, I'm under education thing. I get Fusion 360 for free. You just log on to your account on Fusion 360 and then go to, I guess, the download section, and then it'll automatically let you download a whole bunch of free programs, and NetFab is one of them.
Okay, because I'm just doing like the hobbyist version.
Yeah, it's there. It'll give you everything.
Really?
Everything. Yeah.
Okay, I'll take a look.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, speaking of props, I want to replace the goddamn piece of shit props on my Engel Gato submarine because they're too big. I hate them. They're ugly, and I want what's the proper size for a 148 Gato prop?
I have no idea.
The prop shop in the UK.
Yeah, speak to Simon Higgins.
Yeah.
Speak to
Simon, he's the man.
I mean, he makes these. Simon's one who makes these.
Yeah.
Because the Engel props they're too big. I mean, it's one of the first generation ones of the Gatos, and the props are just huge.
I almost guarantee with all the 148 Gatos and Baleos that are out there that he knows exactly what you want.
Oh God, yeah, Simon. I mean, that is the prop for my Ohio, the one that I've got to sort out the molds for.
Awesome. What scale?
It is 196. Yeah, I unfortunately damaged.
Those are some beautiful.
Is that the one from Simon, Steve?
Yes, I finally got it. It just showed up, like you said, just out of the blue, no notifications, nothing. It just showed up in the mail. So that's my
time for you.
Yeah, but it did finally show up. So
look, we're all breaking out. Who's got the biggest?
I think
got
Steve
a 5
wins.
3/4.
That's exactly what I'm doing, Bob.
Yeah, see, Steve, that propeller, it was originally designed for my LA.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that belongs with the big monstrosity.
Well, this is the 5-inch, I think. I don't think he has the big one like Ed has anymore. There was something about the molds that got damaged in a fire.
Yeah, they had a big fire.
5.5. This I think is 5 1/4, 5.5.
This one's 4.5.
Yeah.
But I mean, he does such an amazing job. Even though he sometimes is a bit of a pain in the backside with posting, he's absolutely, when you get it, you look at it, you're like, wow.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're all cast.
It's
all
not
cut.
that much bigger, maybe 5 and an eighth.
That's what yours is, Ed?
That brass one.
Okay, but what are you doing for your LA? What I'm doing? What I do?
Recognize that?
I do recognize that.
Nice. But nah.
He's
Lovely.
really digging.
And you
He's digging.
recognize that.
Okay, so that's the
I'm in the
resin one.
process of sanding it down on the lathe.
That's the resin one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I did. I took, so you guys know, this is the resin prop that I got when I got the LA. And it was, I mean, it was this much bigger. And
Yeah.
I put it on the lathe and cut it down so it would fit inside the ring from Bob Martin's 3D print.
Yeah. You see, Merriman has this. This was about 5.5 inches. What do you got? 5 inches, Steve?
This one that I got from the prop shop is 5 inches. That was the biggest one he had.
Yeah.
Now, I made one from Dave's plans to scale almost, but the scale comes out to be like 6 5/8. It's a monstrous thing.
That's impossible.
Yeah, it's huge.
You would be above the water.
Yeah. Yeah, you would be you wouldn't be getting any propulsion out of that because you'd be constantly cavitating. Yeah.
This is Greg Sharp. Greg Sharp's plans. And this shows it to be about 17 feet in diameter in the real world. Okay. That 6 prop would have been way too big. You'd have been out of the water. You'd have been chopping the water.
Yeah,
Whoa.
that's beautiful.
Bloody hell.
That's the
built
one I
that.
made. That's the one I made from Dave's plan. So it's not finished. I've got to still kind of smooth it and shape it and whatnot, but that's the rough one. And this thing is, I didn't even make it the same size as what he was saying it should be, but
No.
I mean, I'm not knocking Dave or anything like that, but this thing is 5 3/4 in diameter.
Yeah.
No.
It would be right at the surface, right at the surface.
Yeah.
From what I can tell.
Yeah. No, I can measure it right here. I could measure it right on.
Base of prop.
Well, that would work on the 32nd scale.
Yeah.
Yeah. Work on a torpedo and all.
Oh, that's beautiful, Matt.
Well, on the old shroud.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
He's
It would be at the surface. It would not be good.
So if I'm 4.5 inch with an 8-inch hull, I'm going to be well below waterline.
All right.
This is the
What's
prop
that
that I
for,
got with
Steve?
my boat
Yeah.
with the shroud on it.
Oh,
And that's for
wow.
the Columbia.
That shroud's quite big, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is again, I have the documentation that came with the boat. And again, Dave Merriman provided input on the propeller for the ring version of this. And the guy basically did the same thing that you did, where he turned the blade down and put the ring on it. But I mean, you can see this is what I got with the boat, but I'm not looking at doing this version. And anyway,
That's the LA.
yeah,
Okay. Well, that's a huge ring.
it's very wide.
Yeah.
No.
So I don't know what's right or not. Sometimes that's the thing, is you get so confused by what you see and what you don't. And
Well,
what you're
that's
told
why
and-
that's what the all the navies in the world want you to think. They don't want you to know what that prop is or
Yeah.
what it looks like.
Hey, Steve, that's
Yeah.
why we have a little bit of artistic choice back there.
Nice,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Now, I personally don't think the ring is that thick on that. Imagine
never
the amount
seen
of
one.
bronze on that in real life.
Yeah, it'd be a lot.
Heavy.
I've never seen one, so I can't say.
Yeah. No, it's, I would say it's more like, show yours, Bob. It's definitely more like this.
I know that's how the one was modeled for the LA boat that, that Bob put the files out for.
Yeah.
It had the narrow,
Right, and
narrow ring.
that's what I used as the basis. I cut the ring off of one of these and put it on the resin one. It has you look at that, and the 3D printed one is flat to see. And this one, you can see it's got some. This is just a better deal. But I can see printing this would have been a pain in the ass to try to get that curvature into the blades.
This is why. This is where resin printing wins every time.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Well,
I also
if
think
I had the bucks, I'd go have this cast in bronze, but I bet that would be $100 endeavor.
I think that the ring is also going to add support to those blades.
And I bet you it's not as expensive as you think.
And maybe not. I fiddled around with the 5-bladed prop years ago, and I had them cast in aluminum, and that worked out pretty well. I might go down and do that. But this one's a pretty. It's got a bunch of carbon fiber molded into it. So
Now you remember?
Say, if I can speak to Simon and quietly see if we can get one made.
Okay.
You remember a couple times ago when I revealed what I had designed for the propulsor blade on this Columbia boat, and whoa, that'll never work. Anyway, I went back and I redesigned it, and it's still just a 7-blade, but it is tapered now, and the taper is angled as it comes out toward the tip, so it's less as it comes further out. But I mean, this should be completely fine, and it should propel that boat no problem. But that was just 3D printed with no, it had supports underneath it, but they popped off, and it's very clean.
It is. And
so what did you
resin, or you did that on filament?
Yeah, that's my FDM, my Ender 3 Pro with ASA filament.
Good effort.
Now I put a brass collet or collar or whatever in here that has set screws in it that go all the way through the plastic, so everything's locked together, and then it sets on a flat on the shaft, so it spins very true and nothing should come loose.
Oh, that's awesome.
That should be quite a nice proficient boat actually with that.
So I think it works fine. Pardon?
Does that get a shroud?
Yeah, there's a shroud. It goes inside the shroud. It doesn't hit it, no interference or anything like that. So, I mean, it worked out on the file that and then when I printed it, it fit. Imagine that.
Imagine that.
It's nice when that happens.
I want to change the subject a little bit. You guys watch Perseverance Land on Mars?
No, missed it. I knew it was happening.
I did.
Yeah. Cool.
Pretty cool. They haven't
I
launched
had a Mars bar.
What's that?
I had a Mars bar when it landed. I did.
I believe
we
you.
had pepperoni pizza for dinner because that's the closest thing I could think that looked like Mars.
They're planning on launching the helicopter maybe in a month or so.
Oh, okay.
Pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it's got a drone on it, man. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. You ought to go watch it. It's pretty spectacular. It's all over YouTube.
I think SN10, Starship number 10, goes on Monday.
Is that when they're talking?
Yeah. Oh, that's nothing like an Elon Musk rapid unscheduled disassembly. Hey, I give the guy credit, man. He's done more in a few years than Donald Douglas, Boeing. And trust me, I work for defense contractors.
Now, don't knock Douglas. That's my A-26, okay?
I know.
I was about to say, in Boeing sore subject at the moment.
No, I'm Ed knows I'm helping to restore an A-26 Invader here in Utah for flight. And it's, I'll tell you what, it came to us on 5 flatbeds, and it's been an education over the last 8 years because things were in boxes. We just had to take things out of boxes and figure out what they did. But
I think that was designed by Ed Heineman, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Ed Heineman did that, and the SBD-5 Dauntless dive bomber, the A4 Skyhawk, and numerous ones for Douglas.
Wow.
Let's see here.
No relation to Jamie Heineman.
No. The A1 Sky Raider, he designed that.
I don't know if you can see that or not.
Yeah, I can see it.
Fly
That's
boy.
my airplane.
Fly boys.
Wow.
Okay, guys, I got a split. I'm going to see if I could turn this over to somebody else. Let me see.
Hey, Steve.
I hope
I
I
will
don't.
show you something here.
All right.
If you do, we'll beat you.
When you're in the Autodesk site,
Okay.
you click on products,
Okay.
and then you go over to download software, and then you'll see all the software you can download right here. And all you
Okay.
do is you click on either access now or download, whichever you right there. Okay, and that's how you
Okay.
do it.
All right.
that's
I'll
how-
check that out.
That's
Cool.
how I got mine.
Thank you.
Hey, Matt, before I go, how do I get to your email again? You sent it on what?
Right. You know Beck's Model Marine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
At
the chat.
hotmail.com.
It's in the chat.
In
Okay.
the chat.
Okay.
Beck's Model Marine at hotmail.com.
Yeah. Frank, have you got me on Facebook?
No, I got you on my phone. Email.
Oh, right. Okay. I was to say, otherwise, find me on Facebook. I'm always on there because I'm bored.
My wife has that. I don't.
Oh, no worries. It seems to be the way. I've noticed that with a lot of people. Their wives are on Facebook, but they're not. They're always on their wife's Facebook.
I don't want to say it too loud, but constantly.
Yes. Or the worst one, right? My partner is stuck on TikTok. So I will go back from workshop back onto the boat, and she will be spending the whole day in bed watching TikTok. I mean, really?
That's what
You
my
know-
teenage girls do.
You know how long it took me to get a meal that wasn't burnt?
Brilliant.
Oh, man.
All right, guys, I gotta go.
No worries, Frank. Catch you soon.
Stay healthy.
Oh, yes.
So Matt, did you hear what I said earlier?
What about?
If you decide to make the transatlantic crossing for this season, I'm sure somebody will let you run their boat.
Yeah, fair one. But I mean, I don't think we're going to get this year. I mean, we were supposed to go to the Caribbean in April, and they've cancelled that. So we're now going to hopefully go to Caribbean next year. But for me, I would like to get to it. It just wouldn't. I couldn't afford to do it this year, to be blunt. It's been the COVID's cost me so much money, or not having any. So
Did you
as soon
hear
as we
there's
can
a
get,
new term out there? There's a new term
again?
out there. It's called anti-maskers.
yeah,
I'm one of them. Unless I
Yeah.
absolutely have to wear a mask, I don't.
we do. We don't. Police come around and kind of fine you if you don't wear one. So
No,
they've been
We're not
quite
that.
strict with it, to be fair. But
sorry, dude.
it is what it is. I mean, it looks like it's on the mend. I mean, I think the UK is ahead with the vaccines. I mean, my age group's now next month, where it was going to be in September. So it looks like I'm going to get vaccinated next month, which is going to be quite good. even though I hate needles. Oh God, I'm gonna have another one of them shoved in my arm. But
Well,
add to the list of vaccinations that I've had over the years with being in the Navy. Oh, you can have yellow fever. Oh, dengue fever. You can have that one straight in your arm. Oh, cheers. Don't need it, but we'll have it. But it's just been so difficult this year. But on the other side, I've done really well in America, not so much the UK, and I'm now building more stuff. I'm looking forward to getting the Astute out and actually having a fiberglass hull instead of a 3D printed hull. I'm really looking forward to that.
cool.
And detail, putting all the detail in, that is a nightmare. Just be grateful that you don't have to do it. That's what I say to everybody.
Doing this is going to be the extent.
On Trafalgar, you have to do that on the Traf. But what I done was I resin printed panels to lift the vents off the deck, so you can really physically see them. So all you got to do is drill the 4 corners and then file it out. And
Right.
I actually found it really quick. But because I basically overlaid panels on top of the actual original, because you could barely see them on the original moldings. But once I put the panels on, it was really easy to see. It was only when I started looking at the plans on Trafalgar and the Astute and the Vanguard as well, I didn't realise the ship had an anchor about on the model, it's about 3 inches from the bow. There is an anchor in between the vents. I didn't even notice that.
The skipjack does as well. But it's about, if I remember, I'd have to go down and look, but I think it's about a third of the way back from the bow.
That's it, yeah. It's like, so where you've got all your sensors and everything on the bow,
Right.
it's behind that, in between the torpedo tubes.
Hmm.
But that's cool. I mean, at least, I think the Type 45 destroyer, at least you can do cable party when you're in the dry. But you do it on a Type 23 or anything else, you're in the wet.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's no, I mean, I've done the Astute in 1/64, so it's the same scale as the Trafalgar, and it's purely because I didn't want to go through that aggro again. So that prop fits the Astute. That was
Thank you very much.
that's a cake. Yeah, but
Ooh, Bruce went away. We might. Oh, it got transferred to you.
who's the host now?
You are.
Oh shit. Oh right, okay.
Yeah, I got nothing else to do today.
Well, for me, it's 10 o'clock in the evening.
Wow.
It's 3
Yeah.
o'clock here in
I mean,
Utah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, was it when Bob used to do DiveTribe at, I think he used to do it at midnight in the UK time. We would be up to about 2 o'clock in the morning chatting. And me and my old mate used to sit there just like this. We gotta go to bed. We're dying. But yeah. He's not much a friend anymore, is he, Dave?
Yeah. I'm just trying to get stuff done lately. My design for my Japanese I-400 and for the I-52 are coming along quite nicely, which surprised me. It took me a while to understand how to smooth a file down so that it could meet the requirements of the resin printer. Because when I was printing files on the resin printer, I was like, man, that looks like shit. I thought it was supposed to be better. And it's because I was using the same file that I was using to print on my FDMF printer. And when you're printing on ASA, well, it looks great. But when you print the same file in resin, it looks horrible.
Yeah,
And so
see, are you using Shitchu box?
Yeah, but I already fixed that. I took the file into NetFab, and then there's an option in NetFab called repair, and then you can actually go in there and smooth the outer shell, and it does a perfect job because it's like night and day when I print it now. And yeah, I mean, I haven't printed the whole subject. I'm still debating on whether I'm gonna do it in resin or ASA. the resin is still, it's strong, but it's still kind of brittle.
Yeah. I mean, I would fiberglass resin wash over the top of it if it was me. Because I know what you mean. It is a bit brittle, but it's strong. I mean, it's strong enough. I mean, so I've printed railings with the resin printer, and obviously it's totally different from what you're doing. But what I found was if I didn't cure it in UV light, it stayed flexible, but it always went back. And I found if you just lacquer it straight away or paint it straight away so the UV can't get to it, it stays slightly soft. So it takes a whack and it will just go back to normal. I don't know if you could apply that onto your submarine itself. Because it's quite strong when it's out.
Yeah.
But
hey, Bob, if you wonder what I'm talking about, is you see, like, this is a resin printed hull right here. It's one piece. I didn't sand the side yet because because this here was an error in Drydocks. This is supposed to be smooth like the rest, but Drydocks made that error. But you can see how good the vents are and everything, and it prints awesomely. I just gotta. It's a strength that worries me. So, but I'm gonna definitely print one sub that way, and
What if
that sub, once it's printed and put together and sanded, it may go to someone who has asked for it. The first one, he told me not to say who he was. There's nobody here, but you know.
Hey, you should make it and send it to me, and I'll cast it, make it into a fiberglass hull.
Oh, speaking of which, the first I-400 submarine that I printed it out. It was my test model, but I printed it out in PLA. I printed out the entire sub and the conversion to RC. Everything was built in for the shafts and everything. I actually sold that, and the guy, he moved, but he actually finished the sub. But he didn't finish as RC. He finished the sub as a static model, and he has yet to send me a freaking picture of it. He says it looks fantastic. I said, "Well, send me a picture of it." Yeah, and it was 172 scale, and it was the first time I printed, like, I didn't want to, because once Bob showed me the horror story of having the PLA model out in the sun that it warped and melted, I said, not for me. I'm going to do either ASA or resin. So that's why I sold that. I could have built it, but I sold that, and then he built it as a static model. He even has little Japanese airplanes on it, ready for launch.
Oh, in the hangar?
Yeah, it's like, but it printed good, man. That thing printed so good. Awesome. And what do we got here? What do we got here?
Oh, sorry.
Show and tell.
It's a complete one. No, that's all right. You carry on talking. I was just bringing it in because I got work on it tomorrow. But no, that's the complete WTC. A lot of people are buying these ones, which is good. The old cheap drain pipe. But I don't use solenoid valves. I use a servo. Makes life a lot easier. And Tim's board is there. Here you got the two waterproof probes for the forward section and the same on the aft section. So they're the ones that detect the water and the electronics, so they'll blow the ballast. Works quite nicely. Just don't catch your fingers on it, as I found out. I'm going to have to find a better way of doing that. But for the first ones, they're all right. But I like the fact that having these stuck to your to your end caps, right? So that's your electronics. Nothing moves. And the old shear line ones, the old tubes, these used to float inside the black cylinders. Yeah. And you've got so much slop on your. In fact, the one that I got to go to you from Shane was exactly the same. They just slotted in and they drifted all over the place. So having them mounted, it's just so much easier when it comes to wiring it. You ain't got wires scattered all over the place. But this one's getting put together tomorrow and being ballast tested. So it'll get filled out with water and make sure that there's no leaks on its final check. And that's going off to someone for a Vanguard.
So are those waterproof servos?
No, this has got, so if you imagine there's another tube.
It's in the cylinder, yeah.
Yeah, this is like the central section. So you got your baffles in there, and that's your ballast tank. And it's a sealed unit. So your pumps in, fills it up just over half, but I've got it set for halfway. If it goes too high, you're at risk of blowing the end caps off, even though they're all fastened and bolted together. I've put there are two probes in there that stop it from going any higher. And that's the valve. So the servo just shuts the valve off, and that's it. And then Tim's board is there, and that's what controls all the system. So all you do is just flip the switch, that'll open that slightly, and you'll be able to get you get it to hover. It's, Tim's a really clever lad, actually, when it comes to Arduinos and God knows what else. I just wanted it as plug and play. I told him what I wanted, and he just did it. As I said, it just makes life easier. But yeah, I've made four of these this week. I don't want to make any more. I don't want to make any more WTCs for a while. I really don't. They're long. And,
you have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.
Well,
all right.
Okay.
See you later, Bob. Have a good.
What do you got, Dave?
Oh no, I just wanted to say that this year I'm definitely going to Subfest, and I will be taking the Vanguard there.
Cool.
Yeah. And
okay.
If I have space, I will take the Gato, but I have to have space for another sub that I'm bringing back. So.
Okay.
You buying another boat, Dave?
No,
Steve,
I'm not buying another boat.
I'm
not buying another boat. I swear to God, I am not buying another boat.
You're sitting there grinning.
Okay, I'll tell you, Steve, because I don't have time, literally, because I got another thing that I'm doing at work now that I have to mentor this one guy. I just don't have time. So the Gato and the Vanguard are my top priority. My other submarine, I have it. I didn't build it. What is it? It's the Angle U-177.
Oh, yeah, Type 9.
Yes.
Type 9. Yeah.
Yeah. I bought the complete kit with all the fancy extras, with the decking, with the optional conning tower, and everything.
How you dealing with the hull?
Well, I'm not. He's going to be dealing with the hull.
Enjoy the smiling hull, Steve.
Yeah. I'm warming up my Dremel.
I've got a Type 9, and I haven't touched it because the bow is like this.
Oh no, my bow. One thing I learned, because I read before I bought it, it said the moment you buy it, make sure you keep the top and the bottom taped together until you build it, and it's always been taped together, never apart.
I wish the person who I bought the submarine knew that.
Yeah.
I bought it second hand and never started. No worries, Bob. Have a good one.
Okay, I'll see you later.
Oh, Steve, enjoy that, man. As I said, I've got one and I haven't started. I started it, but I haven't really gone to town on it yet.
Well, it was the
bow.
I haven't done a U-boat, and I haven't done anything Ingle. So this will be a new experience. But yeah, I'll work on it and get it put together. Hopefully have it to him for Subfest. So he needs room to take it back.
Yeah.
I must admit though, I've got those pistons and everything, and I tried using them in other boats. So I was going to put a WTC in my Type 9, I couldn't use it on anything else because of the size. So I'm most probably going to go back and put the old pistons and all the leveler and everything else back into my Type 9. I just don't have time of day to work on it at the moment.
It just yeah. I know the Gato I will get done, like it'll probably be testing in about 2 months. The Gato will be testing. You know, I'll be in the water testing. So
yeah, so I'm about to start making a 90mm polycarbonate tube for my Type 21. So I get my Type 21 back in the water because obviously I've never had that in the water. I found it in the barn. So I want to get her back in. So trying a 90mm tube, that should be quite interesting.
Oh, you didn't see? I decided to go through that deal I told you about possibly getting a WTC from R&R.
Yeah.
Because I can't tell you the arrangement me and him made, but let's just say that no cash was really sent. It was a trade. You know, yeah. So it's that. I mean,
what did you trade with him?
Huh?
What did you trade with Ron?
It was a trade. So,
yeah, you can. Just fucking tell me. What did you send Ron?
Yeah. Okay, here's this is it.
Yeah.
The ballast tank is here, and the ballast tank is here. There's two ballast tanks front and back, and in the rear, the shaft runs through the rear ballast tank and comes out the other end, two of them, which it's okay, but there's one problem I ran into, and it's due to how narrow the shafts are in the back. They're so close together. Well, the Gato is about that far apart, the shaft. So it's really going outward, but it does, the shaft does work with the joint, universal joints, they do work. And there should be a piece here, but I have it, here it is. This is the end.
Can I ask, when you got this, does it come with all the electronics? Have you got to add electronics to it?
No, it doesn't come with electronics. It does not. This does not come with any. It comes with the motors. It comes with the drive motors, the shaft, everything hooked up. It comes with the two of these water pumps right there. And it comes with all the shaft, you know, these things here. But it does not come with any electronics whatsoever. But since I got it through, you know, I either way, I'm pretty happy with it, considering, you know, considering how I got it. Will it work? I don't know. Because I might be like I might be the first one that he sold this to.
No, you're not.
No, you're this version. This version.
No, you're not. It's been it basically it's been around for a while. So yeah, well, no, I asked.
He had the piston version of this, and I asked for the piston version, but he said no. I did away with the piston version, and this is my new version. And he said he only started selling it like 2 months ago.
Oh, really? Well, this is when basically what happened was I released the prices of my WTCs, and as soon as I'd done that, they came on the market within hours.
One thing he must have done is because he, one thing I saw, the regular price of this was higher before, and then all of a sudden he dropped his price down on this. And I don't know if it's because of you or.
Yeah, it was. I asked him to make WTCs for my submarines. He turned around and said to me, I wouldn't. So I went and did it myself. And next bit I know, they come out.
Yeah. I mean, I got lucky.
On a different note, quite different. So I don't care.
Yeah. I got lucky. He wanted something I had. and I wanted something he had.
Yeah, I mean, in the end of the day, they're his. As I said, they work. I am personally not a fan of the push fit seals. Never have been. I like to have I like to clamp it up.
Your way is better. It is. It's a better way.
It works, and it's tried and tested. This hasn't changed. This design has not changed since it was Eden, Shearline, and now me. The only thing I've done is I put more electronics in it. That's the only thing I've done to it. And the valve, I've changed the valve. But yeah, that's how I sell it though. I sell it with everything. So I must admit, I am beginning to think about selling an empty cylinder, do an empty unit and just sell like that. I don't know if it's worth it or not.
Well, yeah, the problem is it's so expensive to send something as long as a cylinder. It has to be broken down into sections in a box because it's expensive to send over. Yeah.
Not really.
Some places it's expensive. Yeah.
$45.
But yeah, I mean, for that thing there, I think he said, even though I didn't pay, the shipping was like either 45 or 50. He said.
Yeah, I mean, I sent the Vanguard before the Vanguard got smashed. Before Christmas, it was £94, and it went to £101 to send the Vanguard out. So, yeah, you're looking at around about £100, £200 mark, and I don't know how much you pay when you get over to your side, but it's because I can't break these down per se because that is the unit there.
Yeah.
So in theory, I could have the end caps off, but I think I'd rather have the tubes on it just to protect these. Because I mean, they're glued on. They don't have any weight. There's no strain on there. That's why they are. You got your brackets and that holding in nice and tight. But I think if you whack something on the top of there quite nicely, yeah, you'll knock them off. They're not designed for that. They're designed to sit in a tube and support the system. But I mean, it's a nice, simple system. It works. I mean, I love the baffles in it. I really love that system. I proved that it worked as well, which is even more. That made my day. That did. That's help. You don't put folks on cables. But I mean, so yeah. I mean, try it. I think it will work fine. All you'll have to do is put a couple of linkages around your propeller shafts.
One thing I saw, and it was a week or two ago that Bob mentioned this, and I said, well, I thought they made something like that. It was a different. It was like, you know how Bob wants to go from one drive shaft to two, so that he can just.
That's why.
Yeah. Well, they on Amazon. They sell for, I guess, Traxxas trucks. They sell a differential gearbox.
Talking about a dog bone. Well, you've got the ball with the pod.
Yeah, it has three. The differential has three shafts in it, one in the center and two in the outer, and you just put the one shaft in the center from your motor, and then the other two shafts turn the other way. And you could use that, and you could use a WTC that always has one drive shaft in either a U-boat or whatever that needs two drive shafts, or one like a Vanguard that only needs one. You just pull one out and put it in another.
Yeah, I mean, they used to be able to buy that for a lifeboat kit. I think a lifeboat kit, you used to be able to buy that setup. I mean, personally, if it was me, I still rather have twin stick throttles. If I had a twin stick vessel, I'd rather have twin throttles like on my Futaba. It does help in steering, especially with a Typhoon. If I need to turn quickly, I just drop back on one of the throttles, put more up on the other throttle, and turn the whole rudder over, and she'll turn really nice. That's the only downside of a gear system like that. You've got no control over the variable speeds. I mean, Steve, I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
I mean, well, I have this like on the Angle Type 9 one. I only sent like a 8-channel radio receiver to for it, but when I looked at it and I looked at the T-Max ballast controller, I didn't know that used 3 channels on your radio. That ballast controller.
What does it?
It uses 3 channels. The T-Max.
Yeah, see, I've got the old one.
Yeah.
So I've got the very, you know, the one that's got one, and you put the board in the top. It's got the sensor on it that goes up to the periscope, I think it is, and it tells you when you're at periscope depth, and it does all weird stuff with it.
Yeah. Well, this one, like,
throw it away.
well, mine issue is if it's going to use 3 channels on the ballast controller, and then 3 channels for the servos, that means I only have 2 more channels left, and. You know, I mean, I don't think I have, like, I'd have to then put both of my electronic speed controls for my drive to run on 1 channel off the receiver.
Yeah.
Unless I use a 9-channel receiver. I do have a 9-channel, but I didn't configure yet. I didn't test it yet to see if it works in 75. Okay. I didn't have time. I sent him that. If I have to, I'll check that receiver. If it works at 75, it works. If it's not, then I have to send it off to the guy who retunes it to retune it to 75. That's if I need to have it for the sub. I didn't know I needed to have it for that damn T-Max thing, but
How wide is the propeller spacing on that Type 9? I mean, is it that much?
You get with the kit a spacer for it. It's it's like a weird thing that clips onto the kit, and you can put your propeller shafts in and it spaces it out for you. I'm not too sure.
I'm just thinking
the
it can't be that wide. How much benefit do you get from like a differential control on it? You know,
I mean, it's okay.
Well, you think about putting gears on the Type 9 then?
Let's see. What? Oh no, he's asking if it's beneficial to control each prop. Like,
yeah, will you gain much in turning ability if the props are real close together? You're not going to gain a whole lot if you have differential control.
Yeah. See, I couldn't tell you on the Type 9 because I ain't built it yet. But on the Type 7, my 32nd parallel, I have that as tank steering. So I can drop off. All you got, it's not so much, you know, where you put one forward, one reverse, and then turn it and get it spin. That doesn't work very well at all. It's when you're steering, and then say you got both sticks forward, and you want to turn sharply. All you do is back off on the inside stick. So what it does is it causes the propeller to slow down, and that acts as a brake.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is you're not much stick it in reverse. You just turn it into a brake, and then you're able to swing that back end round. Now on a modern warship, so if we wanted to do an emergency stop, you don't stick the propeller straight into reverse. You put it into slow ahead, and what that does is it's actually, instead of digging a hole, it creates a prop brake. And that's basically all that I use it for, is a prop brake. Not so much stick it in reverse, tank steer it to spin it around. All it is purely so I can just drop back and I'm able to swing it round on a tighter circle. It makes life easier getting into the harbour.
Okay, it says here the shafts are 64 millimeters apart.
Yeah, so that's not a lot.
Yeah, you're talking what, that much?
Yeah.
I mean that's what it says here on
about
the
2.5 inches.
Gearbox. I'm going by the gearbox how far the shaft's away. Like right here. I
have a hard time, and I mean on a Typhoon, the Typhoon's got wider, I could see that having some significant impact on, slowing down or speeding up one of the motors on that because they're so wide. But with something that's got a span of 2.5 inches between the props, the outputs, I don't know how much benefit you'd get.
Yeah. So
to have
it. So I'm just
be quite blunt.
So I'm just gonna probably like put a Y in there on the receiver. Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
And have the two
I think you're right. actually, come to think about it, you have not got a lot of room there. I mean, you might, and it ain't going to really affect the submarine because it's not a long, big sub. Yeah, stick it with a single throttle stick, or put a gearbox in. But the other thing is, you got to think the gearbox is what it's the thing that could go wrong inside your submarine. If you got two engines, at least you know that if one goes, you still got the other one.
Well, I just hope Engel's taking care of his orders right now, because last time I tried to order something from him,
you've got Bob Ope and No Ope. Yeah,
I need the magnetic switch, the 6-volt magnetic switch, to be able to turn the sub on and off, and it comes with the receiver switch.
Isn't that that's a reed switch?
It's this right here.
The reed. Yeah, it's a reed switch, isn't it? You spoke to Tim to see if Tim could make you something.
Yeah. Let's see. Switch modules. There it is. It is. Oh, that's the wrong one. God damn it.
All I know is that the last time we talked about anything from Engel, Bob was saying that he's having difficulty even being able to reach him.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought Engel was.
So it's questionable. They may have it on their website, but a lot of people were saying they had hardly anything available on their website anymore. But, you know, I just hope that you're able to get it from them if they show it available, that they will ship it out. But
it was available, and I put in to order it yesterday.
Yeah.
And actually, it was but usually he emails me back. He'll say your order's getting ready, but I won't be able to ship it out until like Monday or Tuesday. But he hasn't. The last 2 times I did that, he never sent an email. I had to give up on the last order. I tried to buy motors off of them.
I think you're going to find that Engel is not going to be around. I think you're barking up the wrong tree there. I do think Engel's going.
Yeah. So here it is. Here it is. This is what I need, and
yeah.
Because with the Engel submarine, you have to be able to turn off. At least that's what it says in the instructions. You have to turn off. You have to have a switch for the main power and a switch for the RX battery. 2 switches. And that switch is basically 2 in 1. So
really,
yeah.
Break both power for the radio and for the sub, I guess.
Yeah. Of course, yeah. I mean, I never bother putting a Bex. I never bother putting a Bex in Bex battery in there. I put a Bex board in. So as soon as you turn the submarine off, that Bex is off. Because it limits the battery.
Because I'm not 100% sure on this, but someone did tell me that somehow, let's say, God forbid, your main battery dies, the sealed battery. Supposedly, somehow, if you configure the RX battery, it can run off the RX battery temporarily to put your boat back, so you can control your boat with the motors back. It's like a backup system, supposedly. Yeah, that's what they say.
I don't see how it could power the motors. You'd still have radio, maybe be able to blow an emergency, gas backup or something to get it back to the surface. But
they're piston tanks, so they need quite a bit of juice to push them pistons out.
Yeah.
I mean, mine basically, as soon as it detects it gets below a certain voltage, the pistons automatically just go straight out, and then you can't dive.
The battery that goes in this, well, it's a 6-volt, 12-amp battery, but the RX battery is a 4.8 volt, 3600 battery.
Yeah,
and it's a pretty thick, for a receiver battery, it's pretty big.
Okay.
Maybe so.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe that's why they've got such a big Bex battery then.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, I've not really touched it, to be fair. So I will do. I think I might. I'm beginning to more and more think I will do some more work on that Type 9 because I like those pistons. They're good fun.
I mean, I have two other pistons that I had from the Gato when it came.
Well, the old grey one.
Yeah, the gray ones. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I got two of them. I just put them on the museum and thought I'd leave them there.
Yeah, I mean, they're okay for, you got to add switches to them and stuff like that. But I mean, they're okay for simple stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah, you wouldn't. You've got no control over them.
Yeah,
not really.
I wouldn't put them in any expensive boat. Let's put it that way.
No.
I'm just fearful. How would you know when either the Type 9 or the Gato, because they're the same length, it's just about, when they're finished, how much do they weigh?
Right. I think the Gato was nearly 50 kilos.
That's over 100
With
pounds, man.
with the lead in it was insane. I mean, the Typhoon was even worse.
I mean, I put it here with all the parts and the sub to be. I mean, unless I'm wrong, because I only shipped so much weight when I shipped the sub there, and only the stuff that I pegged maybe 50 pounds, 45, 50 pounds.
Did you get the leads with it? Did you get your lead weight, the submarine kit?
Yes, but the lead weight in it is different than the Gato.
Yeah, the Gato's bigger. Right, the Gato's wider. Okay, the Type 9 is narrower. So the gate, in the Type 9, you've got 750 milliliter piston tanks. Yes, in the Gato, they're 1,000. So they're 1,000.
No, I mean, I think the Gato I got, they were only 750.
Well, this is it. I thought this, and when I put my 750s into my Gato, it didn't work. It was still too buoyant.
Oh, okay.
So I found that's when, and that was before the Gato exploded, and that was that, and that was the end of that. The Gato went bang, due to crappy fiber.
Because the seal lead battery weighs between 4.5 and 5 pounds, and the receiver battery weighs like 10 ounces. And then the lead weight, it's about maybe 8 or 9 pounds right there in lead weight. Yeah. So
I know it'll give you a hernia. My old tights, I've got a 32 parallel, and that was a dry tank, and that thing was ridiculously heavy. I mean, it took two of us to put the thing in the water. That's why, and then it started to leak and gave up, and that's why I got rid of the dry tank.
Well,
that's why
one benefit, at least when I go boating, I'll get a workout and I'll get stronger arms.
Absolutely right. I mean, this is why I started converting all my dry boats to WTCs, purely because they are so heavy, and I'm too lazy. So I'm like, it's time to go. But anyway, I mean, I think I'm going to get my Type 9. When I get 5 minutes to sit down, I will get on with my Type 9. Because I think those decks, I was tempted to replace those decks with that German lad who does all the edge cutting for the decks.
Those are the decks I got.
That's what I was thinking about doing, because I've got the Engel wooden decks, and they just look, they just don't look right, basically.
Yeah, and plus putting those decks from whatever Wingert, whatever his name is, that he makes. They're so much easier to put that deck on than it is the wooden deck.
Yeah,
it is. It's just you just plop it down. It's like
he ain't actually expensive, is he?
For the full kit, I believe it was 240 pounds, or no, 240 euros for the whole kit. But that was with the conning tower and the deck.
Oh, okay. So you got the conning tower as well. So you're not using the fiberglass conning tower.
No. Well, it's up to Steve. If Steve I mean, I would prefer the other one, the other conning tower.
You want the D2, right?
Well, you'll see it when you see it.
Do you
Yeah,
want
it's
the
a
one
D2.
that's in the kit that you got extra?
Well, yeah. When I shipped it to you, I shipped both conning towers.
Okay.
The new,
You got the fiberglass cons, and then you've got
the
the
original
other one
conning tower that came with the kit, and then there's the optional conning tower that I bought with the decking. And basically, the main difference is the original conning tower is early war. The other conning tower is late war conning tower.
Okay,
Right,
now the kit had on it that it was a 9D2, right? Is that?
Yeah, yes.
Now the 9D2 was a longer boat than the previous models, right?
Yeah, then the 7s. Yes.
Yeah. Well, not so much the 7s, but there's the Type 9, like a 1, a 2, but there's an A, B, C, and then you get to the D, and then there's the D2. It's like the Ds were longer boats. So
yeah, oh God, where's that freaking thing?
But you sent that link you sent me when I looked at it. It said it was a 9D2 kit.
Yes, it is well, I can't read German. I hate this stuff. Where's this?
It's like those Germans have a different word for everything.
Yeah. I'm just trying to look. It's like what? I'm trying to find the kit here. Okay, here it is. Yes, when you ordered it, when I ordered it, the upgrade kits came in 2 versions. One was the Type 9C.
Okay.
Or the Type 9D2.
Yeah.
And the upgrade kit I got was the Type 9D2. Basically, the conning tower is slightly different.
It is different, but the Ds were longer boats too than the previous versions from what I read. I'm no expert at this. I'm just learning myself.
Oh, it is. It is. The version from Angle, it's a D2.
Okay.
So the length is correct. The length is correct. Okay. It's just that in late war, they changed the conning tower. That's all they did. They made the conning tower with more AA and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've seen some that didn't have the bow or the forward gun on them. Some that did. I mean, you wanted a U-177. There was a lot of.
No, well, it doesn't matter for the U. It can be any submarine, any D2 submarine. It doesn't matter whichever one. It doesn't really matter. I can verify for you, because I checked the number. Somebody checked it for me. Which D2s actually got the upgraded conning tower? Mm-hmm. Some of them didn't get it because they sunk, so they couldn't have got it. They had the original conning tower, but someone sent me a link with it. Which subs made it to the end of the war, and those subs are the only subs that got it's basically a longer conning tower.
Okay.
And it was because they put 4 anti-aircraft guns on top, I think. They're like 2 either side, didn't they? 2 barrel jobs.
I don't know what they did with it, but yeah. But he has it anyway, like on the guy's site that I bought it from. He has the steps to building it, and it's actually pretty simple to build
the hard bit is the actual putting the electronic. Anyway, I'm gonna scoot because I'm gonna go and crash out.
Okay,
Steve, I've made you host.
Yeah.
So no, you won't lose your chat. I'll catch you later, guys.
All right.
Have a good one.
Later.
Yeah. So Steve, I a matter of fact, I just got a message from Amazon saying that something was shipped to you. So,
Okay.
So you probably, I think the servos, is that the servos? It doesn't show, but something. Oh, somebody just sent me a message. What's this? Oh no, someone just got one of the radios that they bought from me. It's
Yeah.
delayed because of the post office. I hate shipping with the post office. So yeah, I shipped it on the 16th and it got to him on the 27th. I shipped it by priority.
Where did it go?
Colorado.
Yeah, the weather's been so crazy. I ordered something from up your neck of the woods and it took forever to get to me because of all the bad weather that went through. And I just sent something that I built, that one of those chute mechanisms I put together for a guy in France.
Yeah.
He got it in no time. I was
Oh,
blown away. He called me today and said it showed up.
international mail, like how did you ship it? Did you ship it by postal, international, or US, or you what did you use?
I just went with the US Postal Service, filled out one of the forms and sent it,
Wow,
whatever
yeah.
cheapest route was, and he got it today.
Now,
So-
that is a little unusual because even my the WTC I got, that was delayed a little bit. It was supposed to get here in 3 to 5 days, but it took 12 days international, and that was from the UK. So he was quite upset because he paid. I paid for this extra shipping on this, and it didn't get there on time. So
Yeah.
I don't know. But do you have any questions that you need me to answer for you about this submarine or whatever?
Well, I probably will have once I lay my eyes on it and get the stuff and read through the materials and see what I'm up against here. And it's going to be. I did take a look at like that video of that guy that built that Type 9. Like you sent me the pictures of it.
Yeah.
Beautiful looking boat. And there was a YouTube video of that boat running. And so I went and checked out that YouTube. But anyway,
he made some changes to it. If you're talking about the one that put the clear tops on top, like a clear.
You sent me pictures of the boat and said, you thought he did a good job on it, but you didn't necessarily.
Oh, that one? Okay.
Yeah. Kind of had a greenish looking hue to the top of the water line.
Yeah.
Yeah. There, I found the YouTube videos of that thing running, and it looked pretty cool. So from all the pictures you sent me and what I've looked at of it so far, I mean, I'll know more when I actually dive into it, but it doesn't look too difficult. It looks fairly straightforward. So I've never dealt with a dry hull before, so that'll be a totally new thing on me. I don't know if there's any tips or tricks or anything to a dry hull that are something that aren't already explained in the instructions. I have no idea. People that have built them in the past, but Bob, I'm sure Bob's had his fair share of the piston cylinders. I've not dealt with the piston cylinders either, but I understand the concept of them. It's no big deal. But any of the German kits, the German boats, very, very highly engineered. They seem so complex when you look at them and so forth, and switches and gizmos and all kinds of stuff that run these things. And I try so hard to keep stuff as simple as I can keep it. And I mean, you've seen the hull on my boat.
Yeah.
I got a couple spheres. I got a couple batteries. I got a motor. I got a box with the guts in it. Done.
Because that's why for people who have either the Type 7 or the Type, any angle boat that uses a piston.
Yeah.
You will always see those types of people with almost the exact same radio that I'm sending you.
Yeah.
It's due to the fact that the pistons, they they operate better when you use those sliders to go up and down.
They need a, instead of a direct, like one way or the other, they need that proportional control.
Yeah.
And you can fine tune that thing to where it'll, you know, you can fine tune one ballast tank or the other ballast tank or whatever, or both, the way that thing is designed from what I've read about them.
Yeah,
But you need that proportional control to do it.
There is, and I didn't do this because I didn't feel like spending another 76 or 79 euros, because this kit is really complicated enough. I mean, maybe I should. If you think I should, then I'll try to get one off angle. But it comes with an add-on that is added on to the ballast tank controller. And what this does is when you dive, you never have to worry about trimming the boat ever. It will automatically trim itself level all the time. I didn't think I would need that at the time. I mean, because I could do it myself with, you know, just with the things.
Yeah. I mean, I've questioned the need for pitch controller, like on this big boat I'm working on. You know, my experience with it is, yeah, I trim the aft dive plane, but I'd use the stick to control the fairwater plane to make it go down. But that doesn't happen until you've dropped it down in the water by flooding the ballast tanks, and that front fairwater plane can actually take a bite in the water, you know. Then you can pull the nose down, and the tail is just supposed to float and follow it because it's on a pitch control. But I found that as I'm running the boats that I've done, I'm adjusting that pitch control, or I'm adjusting the pitch angle on the back of it so that it runs level in the water, you know. And once I set it, I typically don't have to mess with it. I have it on a slider, so I adjust it until it's running level. And then if I need to pull the nose down a little bit, I can pull it down a little bit, but I'm trying to maintain periscope depth. And I don't find myself fooling with it.
One thing that I'm going to try, I'm definitely going to try this, because I have a pitch controller.
Yeah.
Is, since I have in the Gato, I have 2 tanks in the front. I mean, 2 tanks in each end. If you put a pitch controller in there and you attach it to only the rear motor that controls the rear ballast tank, and you dive down and you let the pitch control take over, it should try with the motor, turning the motor on or reverse, you know, back and forth to level the boat to the level of the front ballast tank.
Yeah.
It should do that. I mean, that's a guess. It should do that.
I don't know if the timing of it is such that it may take longer, or, you know, I don't know. I mean,
yeah. I'm only going to try it just to see what it does. I mean, am I going to try it? No, but I'm just curious, you know.
Yeah.
Why not give it a try? Because it's not like a dry hull boat where you have, you know, you don't have, once you put that dry hull, the reason why I asked you about those servos, once you put that dry hull together and it's glued and it's glued with the resin, it's hard to get to some spots in that hull then inside.
Yeah.
You gotta, that's why I'm saying, well, those servos are right at the edge of the opening. And I said, will I be able to get to those servos if one dies and have to put another one in?
Yeah.
I don't know. So, you know, so I said, if I have to, I will. I'll put another one in, but I can do it now because my brother actually taught me, he uses it for computer work, but to get into tight spots, he actually puts a camera on with a wire on his iPhone, and there's a camera in there.
Yeah.
And he can look on his iPhone and work and take stuff out and pull it out in an enclosed area. So if something happens that I have to do work on the sub, I'm going to use that camera. I'm going to buy it off of Amazon. It's only like $50, and work on it that way. That's what I'm going to do. So, but Yeah, I'm just, if you're wondering why I am buying this, because it's going to take a while to get this sub going. If you, I'm buying all this stuff and sending to you now is, I'm a person that likes to get the pain over with. And I spent it's done. I know that there might be other costs, and also if there are other costs that you didn't think of and stuff like that. So this is going to cost. Fine, we'll add it on, and I'll pay you. That's not an issue because I don't want if something comes up and we didn't think about it, it's not, that's not. It's just whatever. I'm totally agreeable with anything. But like
I'll talk with you through the process if there's things
Yeah.
that come up that, hey, I need a decision. How do you want to do this? But
I just can't wait for the videos, man. I just can't wait. I can't wait to see if Bob says something on the DriveTribe when a video about your work on it. I have a feeling he'll say something about your work on it.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, I definitely want to let people know that it's being done. And, I want to certainly try to give my opinions of it as I go. And, having done it never before, it's, I'm going to probably have parts of it that I'm going to be like, wow, I didn't think of that one. That one's a tough one. We got to work through this. How are we going to do this? And I love challenges like that, though. That's great. So,
yeah. I mean, yeah. You like me. You like a challenge. It doesn't frustrate you that much. Same for me. I mean, my thing is, like I said, it's time. This is like the first time I've had a weekend that nobody is asking me for something. Literally,
Yeah.
Someone's always, hey, Dave, do this. Dave, do that. Hey, Dave, come on over. I need some help on this. My mother lives next close, so I have to then. She has a habit of clogging up her main pipes. So I have to go over there with an auger, aug out her pipes, and that's just disgusting. And it's a pain. And just because I know it, because I did construction when I was younger, and I want to get away from that. So, but I'm gonna let you go. And like I said, if you have any questions or whatever, you can you can ask me whatever. Then I'll let you know if Angle gets back to me on this magnetic switch.
Yeah.
I'm not holding my breath. I mean, I'm hoping because I tried ordering motors from him it was about 3 months ago. He never got back to me.
Yeah.
And it was an order. I mean, I was ready to pay him. Since it's overseas, you have to order first, and then he sends you a PayPal invoice, and then you pay that.
Yeah.
But I don't know what to do then if I can't get a switch like that, other than maybe putting either one or two manual switches right outside the hull, that literally that you just flip on and off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I mean outside the hull, not outside, like in the inside part of the front of the pressure hull.
Yeah.
On the inside.
Yeah.
Through the pressure hull wall. Because the one servo link is going to go through that. What's wrong with putting another hole on the other side with a wire that's an on and off?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's another way of doing it. So
I mean, worst comes to worst, we try that other unit you said is the state side.
Yeah.
We go ahead and try that. I mean, my only concern is when you're trying to run the motors and the motors for the piston tanks, and like Matt said, they can draw quite a bit of current. I've kind of heard that about those. So I just didn't want to undershoot the size of the switch and overdo it,
Because the switch, that the wireless switch that Bob uses to control his subs.
Yeah.
I mean, I looked at them. Those I swear they only show 10 amps.
I got one of the high powered ones. I think it was a 15 on the high powered ones. And I have that in the Nautilus, but I had issues. I think it was dropping out. It was shutting off when the batteries got low. Okay. And I didn't know that.
Oh.
And so the batteries were low, and my Nautilus ended up going to the bottom of the lake, just like
Ooh,
that. And
dang.
I could see it right there. I mean, it wasn't but 8 feet out from the edge of the water, but I could see the shadow of it just make it out. And I ended up having to wade out to get it, because I tried everything and I couldn't get it to return to the surface. But I ended up getting it back, and I realized, oh, the dumb thing powered off, So either I bumped it by mistake because I had the fob on the back of the transmitter, or it powered down on its own, and I didn't know to click that again to try to power it back up before it got too deep. So
maybe the switch requires a constant 12 volts, and if it got below 12 volts,
yeah, there's a threshold. There's a threshold. But see, I was getting those batteries on that, and I didn't even know it, down to around 9-10 volts. And so I think it was dropping out because of that. And once I realized what was going on, I bypassed the switch, and I just plugged my batteries in. And it's so easy to put the top on that thing. You fit it on, and then you put the RAM in the front of it to lock it down. So it was very easy just to power it up, put it together, and lock the RAM in, and go put it in the water. And then to pull the RAM out and disconnect it, just pull the top off and jerk the power cord loose for the batteries, the connectors for the battery, and it was easy. So I ended up just bypassing the on-off switch because I got fed up with it, and it worked. I didn't have any more trouble like that. So,
well, one thing I could do is the one that's sold in the States here, the Jet model. It's called Jet something, Jet I, whatever. It's 2-pole, meaning each pole can take 10 amps constantly, or for like 4 to 10 seconds, 20 amps constant. That means the whole unit can do 40 amps constant. So what I could do, I mean, to me, if it does the job and I can't find it anywhere else, and if I want wirelessly, if I want, hopefully the magnet works through the hull though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, because if the angle one works through the hull, why wouldn't this magnet work through the hull?
Yeah.
So, but either way, I could buy technically 2 of them, and I could just run the main 6 volts through both poles, and I'd have 40 amps maximum constant. Or
yeah, you could like split up the ballast tank motors and the drive motors for the boat on separate runs, and then have a third run if you had 2 switches like that. Now you'd have to magnet both of them on and off, to do it. But you could break each of the circuits independently that way. And the second switch, you could have the battery for your BEC broken through it, and then you'd still have one extra.
That's the thing.
Then you wouldn't be loading one branch of that up with the ballast tank motors and the drive motors and the BEC. That would be on a separate one, but you wouldn't be loading up the other.
Now, when you say BEC, you're talking about the battery, right?
Yeah, the battery. Yeah.
Because the sub, it specifically says do not use a BEC in the sub.
Yeah. So if you have the battery on one channel,
yes,
break it, one magnet breaks it, then you have another magnet that activates the other one that has both motors tied through one branch, and then you have both of the ballast tank motors through another. Then you're splitting it onto 2 loads, and you wouldn't overload. If you got 10 amps each on each of those, you're splitting the loads. That wouldn't even be a problem.
Well, what I'm going to do is the place that sells it, it's actually the company store, the big that sells it. It's not from and they will accept returns no matter what.
Yeah.
So I can order it and I could try and see if it works with the, I can plug it up to a motor. Matter of fact, I can plug it up to 2 motors and with this, with this EXE and to see if it can take it. And then I can also check to see if the magnet works through my Gato hull, which is the same thickness as the Type 9 hull.
Yeah.
And if it does work, then I could just ship it to you.
Yeah. That might be another option then.
Yeah, but we'll first wait to see what Angle does. Because I like to just use what was made for the sub.
Yeah.
And that switch is because in all the videos and all the pictures I see, everyone is using that switch that he sells. So okay, so I'm gonna let you go, and I'll talk to you later. Okay.
All righty, man. Take it easy.
Okay, take it easy.
Bye.